Well-planned and effective teaching and learning happens here daily and throughout Birmingham City Schools. The scholars in Birmingham City learn, excel, and grow into leaders who impact the community in science, technology, and education, guided by student-focused educators who genuinely care. This is the foundation for the future. I am Reggie White, a 5th grade math and science teacher here at Booker T. Washington and the 2022 Alabama Teacher of the Year.
Birmingham City Schools, success starts here.
I'm Micah Beavers, a junior at Woodlawn High School, and in 2025, I plan on graduating high school with over 60 college credits from Jeff State.
I'm Mikael Jackson, junior at Woodlawn High School. I attend the early college program at Woodlawn. I plan on graduating with 60 college credits. I currently take classes at Lawson State Community College.
One of the major benefits is the students are exposed to college classes while they are still in high school. Not only do they earn college credit, but those credits also count as high school credit. So they receive free college tuition, free transportation to the college campuses, and free resources and supports to help them become successful and remain successful in the early college program.
It's like a small community of us, and we help each other and guide each other. We can always ask each other questions, and the relationships I've built with our college coordinator and the other students in the program.
It's basically just staying focused and just not focusing on one thing. So like not just focusing on my college classes, because once I leave college, I got to go back to Woodlawn and I have to take my classes there. So I really just have to stay focused and just really be determined. It's all about determination.
Woodlawn has this program, nobody else has it, where your child is able to get up to 60 college credit hours and they do not have to pay for it. It is a financial benefit and so many other benefits to helping your child reach their dreams and their goals, and that's what every parent wants.
This program allows scholars from across the district and throughout the county to come into our system and let us make a plan for your future that's going to be successful, bright, and engaging.
It has already helped me jumpstart my career goals of being an entrepreneur and a finance executive. I've had so much fun in the program, building relationships, and still enjoying my high school career. Success starts early with early college at Woodlawn.
My daughter Letitia loves reading and learning. The two go hand in hand. In Birmingham City Schools, teachers provide the instruction and nurturing she needs.
When I grow up, I want to be a meteorologist. I started my journey here at Oxmoor Valley Elementary when I was 5 years old. They make learning fun with computers and technology. My teachers encourage me every day to do my best.
Birmingham City Schools, success starts here.
These 3 Woodlawn High School students are getting an early taste of college life. They are part of early college at Woodlawn. The students are taking college courses while in high school.
Early college helps me find out if I want to go to college, because some people in high school, they don't know if they want to go to college. They don't know if it's for them.
The excitement of the students is really phenomenal. It's contagious. The students really want to get into something that is invigorating, that is challenging for these academically gifted students. So it's something just to see them become interested, apply, go through the process of becoming an early college student, and then getting onto those college campuses.
The students say they're taking classes at Jefferson State Community College and the University of Alabama at Birmingham.
At first, it was a little, difficult adjusting to college classes, because you being, an underclassman in a room full of people that's majoring in big things like being a doctor or a lawyer, it's kind of intimidating. You get a little nervous, you get a little shook up. But
so what gets you through?
Me, personally, just in the morning, wake up, be like, you're gonna do great.
When they graduate from high school, the students say they'll have roughly 30 to 40 college credit hours. They'll have a chance to graduate early and save money.
It's amazing because we can use the scholarships that we're gonna get. So we don't have to span it out over 4 years. We can just use it over our 3 years.
I am very proud because a lot of people don't get this opportunity, especially when you have people that are willing to pay for it for you. So you don't have to come out of pocket for anything, no books, no extra other fees, any of that. They have it for you. So your parents not coming out of pocket, they're not stressing about it.
The students say their college professors and early college coordinator are very helpful and want to see them succeed. You can learn more about the early college program at bhamcityschools.org. Inside the historic Omni Shoreham Hotel in Washington, D.C. Representatives from 356 schools from across the United States packed the Regency Ballroom to receive their 2024 National Blue Ribbon Schools Award.
Epic Alternative Elementary School.
Epic Elementary School is among the 356 schools to receive this prestigious award. So what was it like walking across the stage?
It was surreal. It was a moment that has been in the making for a year. And to have that moment to finally approach and to be there again amongst great leaders in education, it was very rewarding and fulfilling.
We always say that success starts here in Birmingham City Schools, and today is just a testament to the hard work that happens in Birmingham City Schools every day, particularly the work that's happening at Epic Elementary School. Today, we're here in Washington, D.C., and Epic Elementary School was recognized as a National Blue Ribbon School. We are so proud of the work that happens there every day.
Epic, along with 4 other Alabama schools, were named National Blue Ribbon Schools this year. Epic was labeled as a National Blue Ribbon School in 1994. This is incredible news for Epic and Birmingham City Schools.
We worked really, really hard at Epic. Shout out to our teachers, our parents, our students, and our community stakeholders. Our instructional superintendent, Dr. Tillman, who supports our network. And we really worked hard, our students worked hard, and it is really a testament today.
U.S. Secretary of Education, Dr. Miguel Cardona, spoke before the crowd and offered words of encouragement.
And as we move forward, remember, never bet against America's teachers and principals. And when times get tough and you begin to question yourself due to the pressures you face, take a deep breath, look in the mirror, and ask yourselves, who better than you?
President Joe Biden wasn't in attendance, but he did send his best wishes via a statement. President Biden said, quote, "The promise of America has long been tied to the promise of an education. A great education opens doors and changes lives. And for the past 41 years, the remarkable educators and leaders of our nation's Blue Ribbon Schools have served as pillars of opportunity for students and their families." On November 14th, Epic will be recognized in Montgomery by Alabama state leaders. In Washington, D.C., I'm Fred Davenport, BCS Media.
Scholars in Birmingham City Schools get the tools and support they need for success every day. Educators encourage students from pre-kindergarten to high school to reach their highest potential. I'm Corey Cunningham, a Milken Award winner for 2023. It's exciting to collaborate with educators to help guide students. Today, thousands of BCS scholars are in classrooms and labs or working on engaging projects to boost their learning. Tomorrow, our students will be the leaders of Birmingham, Alabama, and the world.
Birmingham City Schools, success starts here. I'm gonna text her and let her know. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the work session for March 25th. This meeting is now called to order. We're going to begin, we're going to move a few things around just for a few board members as they're coming in, but we'll go ahead with our mission statement. The mission of Birmingham City Schools is to guide all students to achieve excellence in a safe, secure, and a nurturing environment. We're excited to have our first updates, Dr. Sullivan, from our new head of operations, Mr. Moore. So,
thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to ask Mr. Moore if he would come over. He's going to provide an update. He has quite a few people with him around our new central office, as well as our pre-K program. We have, for those who are listening and those who are in the audience, we are opening up a new early childhood center over at the old North Roebuck building. And so we are expecting that building to be open this fall. And so we want to give an update on that as well. So, Mr. Moore, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you can introduce your guest.
Thank you, Dr. Sullivan. Good morning, Board President. First off, we'll have an update from Martha Gaskins Pre-K Annex by Mr. Fred Flowers. And as he comes, obviously, I'm still a new guy, but my former life, I did a lot of mentoring at Martha Gaskins, so it was really good to see that this building is going to be renovated for some of our younger citizens. So, Mr. Fred Flowers, you can take it away. You should have hard copies of the updates on this in front of you.
Hey, Mr. Moore, I'm going to ask that Mrs. Arlene Williams come up as well as, I think Charles Williams is in the back as well, so we can have them come up as well. Arlene, you thought you were going to skate out of this, didn't you?
He thought he was going to skate too.
Yeah. Oh, the floor is yours.
All right, the project itself is going very well. We're anticipating the water getting on the building, Birmingham Water Works being who they are. We're expecting them probably sometime in mid-April at this point. The target keeps moving, but we know that they're coming. So that's not hurting anything as far as the project goes. Spire has completed gas line work to the building. So actually,
do you have a there's no presentation?
Do you have a hard copy?
Yes, sir, we do have that. Yeah. Okay.
We had one, but we didn't present it earlier, so.
Of course, we're continuing coordination with BCS personnel The maintenance staff has been fantastic. They get to walk through the building as it's being built. That's Victor Pettis and his guys. So they're seeing it so that they know what's going on and what they're going to get when this project is finished. Coordinating, of course, with Tim Lewis and Dr. Stevens as far as IT goes, making sure everything is ready to go as far as the building, getting the fiber to the building and things for that. Now, the playground equipment is being coordinated for removal, the pre-K equipment from Martha Gaskins to the annex. That is ongoing right now as we speak. They're getting ready to have that moved probably in the next few weeks. So the pre-K equipment from there, and I believe some extra equipment from another location. So we adjusted the layout. So the kids are going to have all kinds of things to hang off of when they get over there. And of course, we got to get used to this. It is the Martha Gaskins Early Learning Annex. That is the official name, as I understand it, for the building. The flat roofs are in. They're doing trim out on that. Standing seam panels, if anyone's driven around the building, they see this beautiful blue roof sitting on top of it. And you can actually see, there's some photos, if you've got a copy of this, where I've got some aerial shots. You can see that roof sitting on top of it in contrast to Martha Gaskins. And then gable ends are following the standing seam. We're getting side panels at the pocket walls done. Exterior doors are in. They're putting the glass in that. All of the major panels are in. There, they got it up right there. So if you go to that last page, that's what I was talking about as far as the roof goes. There it is. So that's what it looks like from the top. And you see the campus photo right there. And Dr. Blackman has requested a golf cart because it is a walk to go from Gaskins over to that. Masonry repairs are ongoing throughout the building. There's just little things here and there. They're pretty much done with it. But as we find little things, we're just getting those addressed. The electrical panels, they've just about gotten all of those, what they call tapping those out. We've actually got power throughout the classrooms, and we actually got a couple of classrooms that are lit up. And we're running air conditioning in the building right now. So we have heat in the building. Paint is already underway, and they're getting ready to start the epoxy floors, starting with the restrooms, and then they'll be transitioning to the kitchen, and then working their way through the rest of the building. And of course, we've got sidewalks poured along the Dalton Drive side and along the north side that faces Gaskins. So it has new sidewalks, and the canopy foundations are in. There's people everywhere in the building. That's the best way I can describe it. And it is rocking and rolling. And I don't usually give a contractor their flowers too early, but I got to give credit to Argo. They really stepped on it and got on the gas for this one. So I'm excited to see it finishing up. And its target finish is July the 7th. And I believe the furniture move-in date originally was targeted for around June 30th. That stays. That does not move unless y'all choose to move it.
Right. Any questions?
Questions? Mrs. Bowen and Ms. Williams.
I'd like to hear about our plan for recruiting students to the new center and where we stand on that.
Okay, so we are anticipating 6 or 7 pre-K classes. As far as Huffman is already overloaded, so we'll be getting those boys and girls from that location. So not only are we hoping to gain pre-K children, we're hoping to gain kindergarten and first grade. So we're looking at those boys and girls that did not make the cut to get where they didn't have space at Phillips and Epic and Princeton, that we will invite those parents to consider Martha Gaskin, with it being a unique situation for them to consider us as a choice.
And right now, the applications are being taken for pre-K, is that correct?
Applications are out, and advertising is taking place also. Every school has flyers, yard signs, and flyers that were provided by the state. So if you go to any K-8 or K-5 school, you should see those out.
So we put this center on the eastern side because the growth was there.
It is definitely there.
And I'm hoping we're doing a whole lot of advertising on that side of town because I feel like it is going to be a bit of a stretch for a parent in downtown or western side to go over there.
Not necessarily. If you have something good to offer, people will drive. So we just know it's going to happen.
Well, and what is our advertising plan?
Well, Ms. Stewart has it on the radio, and so it's been ongoing, and she's even advertised it with summer school being available if you have registered. So that's the update to her radio ad.
Ms. Williams.
Thank you. Thank you all for this presentation. Thank you for those questions, Ms. Boehm. I was actually, and I'm glad you stated that the state provided those yard signs because I live not very far from there, and I was over in the area today because it crossed my mind like, oh, I want to go and see, even though I pass by there all the time. So if I could suggest that we actually purchased our own yard signs because those yard signs, they came from the state, so they don't appear to be recruiting for BCS. They just appear to be...
Yeah, generic.
Yeah, just generic signs. And so we want to make sure that people, and I think we should want to make sure that people know it is actually BCS. In my mind, I've gotten accustomed to our maroon and gold, and so it's like that indicates BCS. And while their signs are cute, they're turquoise, and they don't really look like we're trying to recruit for BCS. So maybe if we could just consider that in addition to what's already out there. And Ms. Boehm, I'll make sure I share in our neighborhood association meetings as well on the eastern side of town. I'm sure Mr. Collins does. I had a question about cosmetics. Do we have any plans for all of those trees in the front or something that from the main roadway from Red Lane Road that makes it more attractive? Because for so many years the school was just there and we were not doing anything with it, and so now that we are, I don't know if there's something we could do. Probably should be looking at Dr. Sullivan. Is there something we could do in the front?
There is some landscaping that's going to be going in. The reason those trees were not removed is the root systems and everything. That would have been cost prohibitive to the project. Plus, there's fiber running under there, and that's the last thing you want to do is try to pull a stump out of the ground. Yeah. Those trees have been there a long time, yeah. And when we first evaluated the project, it was decided that to get those out of there, bring in the fill dirt and everything else, it probably would have just shot it beyond what the budget had for it.
Got it. I understand that. And that makes a lot of sense. But maybe with, I don't know what the plans are for the signage before it's, I mean, currently it's up top and it's been taken out, but modern, you know, when you travel through certain places now, even restaurants have their signage at eye level. So maybe we look at, that's where we have our signage for this school so that people will know. Again, it will bring a freshness to what's happening there. And I plan to ask our city council and our district representatives over there to clean up those overhanging trees so that people can just, it can just have a totally different appearance as you turn left on Red Lane and you're headed to that school, because we want this to be, I know I want, and the residents in District 1 and 2 want this to be sort of state of the art because of what we have happening just 500 feet in the opposite direction with the YMCA. Ms. Boehm, there's going to be 22 new Habitat homes that are being built there. It's a multi-million-dollar project that's going on right there on the corner. Arby's even shut down for the weekend and redid Arby's with the lower level sign. So it's just a lot happening in that area. I think would be beneficiary if we did some, I'm a lady, so beautification to make people attracted to, you know, what's about to happen in that area. That's all I would ask us to consider with the signage.
Well, like I said, we do have a landscape plan. It has, I'm not a landscape guy. It has all these flowers and things like that that are going on in the front of the building. I do know that is going in. So, but from the, street point of view, yeah, the trees are they're just going to be there. I just want everybody to understand it's going to be what it has been for so many years. And
that's fair. That's understandable. That's understandable. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Moore, for the first presentation. And thank you, Ms. Williams, Arlene.
Thank you.
We have a second presentation coming up on the central office, so you have another set of individuals that are going to support you on this one.
All right. So the second presentation is central office. I call it the 2101 building. So we'll get Steel City and all parties that are on this team for that building to make their way to the table to give an update on where we are with central office. And as the team takes their seat, before we get started, just go down the line, just kind of introduce yourself. We'll start with you, Mr. Williams, and work our way back.
I'm Willie Williams with Steel City Services.
Speaking to the mic, sir.
Excuse me. I'm Willie Williams, Senior with Steel City Services, Project Managers.
Ophelia Cox with Cox Commercial Interiors and Design.
Good evening. My name is Andrew Aho. I'm with KPS Group. We are the architects on the project.
Good afternoon. My name is Ashley Askew. I am with KPS Group. I'm the architect assisting Christian Smoke on this project.
Tim Lewis with Tala Professional Services, IT and Project Management.
Okay, as we get started, obviously we know it's a lot of moving pieces to this building, which they'll address some of that this evening, and we'll start with the first slide.
Okay, so for the KPS update, we have finished our SDs. We completed that March 10th as we had scheduled, and that's prepared for immediate review. We have completed all the requirements for DCM, so the requirements we have to meet for state submission.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, can you clarify as far as the abbreviations?
Yes.
SD and so forth, so everyone
So
understands.
DCM is the Division of Construction Management, so that's the state of Alabama. We're required to submit to them at each phase of the design process. So we have completed everything that they require for an SD schematic design submission. So we will have 3 phases, which we're working on now. Schematic design, which is SD, that's first. Design development is DDs, that will be second. And then construction documents, that will be third. So we have completed the first of 3 phases for that. And we're currently in the design development phase. We have coordinated with our engineers and Tim Lewis. We've had that kickoff. We have had on-site meetings, so that says plan for this week. We had one today, and we plan on returning Thursday after we can communicate some of our findings into the drawing set. We have an on-site meeting planned this week, as we have every week on Thursday with everyone that we have present at this table. And then we also have preliminary finish selections underway that we have with us tonight that we can review if that's desired. We're continuing our building assessment. So our assessment is reflected in our SD drawings. We have completed that for floors 7, 8, 10, 11, and 12. Thursday, we will be returning to evaluate the 2nd floor and the 9th floor. We have identified vinyl wall coverings for removal, and that plays into the actively identifying areas to preserve existing finishes and minimize work. We have located areas with continued water damage that's primarily on floors 11 and 12 and documented those as well. So as far as our next steps, critical actions, first and foremost, would be addressing any water damage. Would you like to speak to any of that, Mr. Moore?
Sure. So the water damage that we've kind of assessed thus far, seeing what we need to do, and I'll speak to this in terms of pulling out, whatever vinyl we need to pull out, and then replacing whatever flooring and ceiling that we need to replace. And so right now, we have decided that water damage and the cause of that water currently.
And then, as I had previously said, we have another site visit planned Thursday with our engineers, and then we will follow up with Mr. Lewis at another time. Would you like to talk finishes?
Yeah.
So for the finishes throughout this building, what we're doing our best to do is determine what areas can remain in place. A lot of the areas of this building have been updated in the last 5 to 7 years, so they're still in good working condition. But we are doing our best to visit all areas in this building and figure out what needs to be replaced so that you can have a functional building with a consistent appearance and communicate a strong, cohesive brand as Birmingham City Schools. We're working on determining the extent of casework and conference rooms that can remain in place. Our main goal with this is to get you into this building and get it looking good while saving as much money as we can.
I would like to ask a question before we get too far in. I heard some rumble. I don't know if colleagues did on there. Just if you don't mind going back to the water damage, Mr. Moore, Just, not going into depth for me, but just, is it what we expected, Dr. Lamar and, Mr. Moore, or is it more expansive than what we expected? Just kind of give me an idea of.
I guess, let me know what you expected.
I'm saying, well, I know you kind of mentioned that there was some issues. We talked about the roof, and I'm saying not based upon what I expected, but based upon what you all, is it more comprehensive than what you all thought? Okay, is it coming later in the presentation, the water damage? All right, I'll wait then. Thank you.
Okay, in terms of IT, we have been able to work on getting contracts in place with the different professional services. We're working on finalizing the contract with Logista and 2G services. This team, along with my team, will be working throughout the installation process as well as 3 to 6 months afterward to make sure everything is in place. We don't want to just up and leave as soon as everything's done. So we want to be there to make sure all the systems are working properly even after you move into the building. The goal is to ensure that we have a robust infrastructure that's scalable and secure, also to make sure that we have done our job when it comes to enhanced data and telecommunications, and also to support expansion and emerging technologies. We will do our best to repurpose as much existing technology as possible, where possible, which should reduce cost overall. Our network design is in progress. Our strategy is to be able to maintain the existing network in this building while we're developing a new network that minimizes any disruption of schools' activities. We're working on an infrastructure plan, the technology design, and an approach in terms of how we're going to go about putting in the technology into the new building. We have a network hardware contract that is complete, and so we'll be buying our network hardware off of that contract. We've had conversations with the internet service provider and already have a 5G, 5 gig internet circuit purchased for the new building. It has not been put in now because we don't want to put it in until time to put it in because we don't want to pay for it until we're ready to use it. We will be using a 10 gig circuit for the schools to share, so that will give us significant capacity, and it also ensures our cybersecurity and resilience is there. We will be working on a temporary solution for the 2101 building. So during construction, while people are working in the building, we want to have internet access in there so people will be able to have iPads and be able to walk around, especially architects and my team, and be able to pull up drawings as we go along. So we are working on a temporary solution that we'll put in place, and we're planning on how to do that, as well as planning on when is the proper time to make the connection with the fiber to the building so that we're not too early and we're not too late. Just an idea of what the schedule is, more of sequence versus dates. We are waiting on design documents from the architect. As they were mentioning, they're already working on those. So as soon as we get those drawings, then my team will start working on our drawings. My team has already been working on the technical specs for the cabling. We'll put that together, put together an RFP for the wiring, which will include technical drawings, and we'll go through the standard procurement process, which we'll put it out for bid, have vendors to bid on it, and then recommend to this board a vendor for the cabling. With that, we'll be working on getting the network equipment installed in the MDF and the IDFs, as well as planning for the fiber installation and then the move of the telecommunications services over there. As we do this, and as the building is ready, we'll put in the interactive panels and the touch screens, and we're also looking to put in a visitor management system. So when you come into the new building, you'll be able to electronically check in, and people will be able to know who's in the building. So those are the types of things that we're planning to do. And then last but not least, we will actually deploy the office technology, desktops, laptops, those types of things will be deployed as we bring up the network. So that's the overview as to where we are on technology. We feel like we're in a good position, and we've made a lot of progress since the last meeting. Any questions?
Ms. Williams?
Thank you.
Ms.
Thank you
Bowman?
I always appreciate when you present, you just kind of go straight forward and get to the point, and it reminds me of our work sessions together with this information. I just had a question around the fiber connection. Is there any circumstance or situation that could occur where once the fibers, everything is connected and then something doesn't work properly? Like, is there a way to test before all the installation takes place, before everything should be up and running? Have you experienced any challenges in the past, and if so, what would that look like?
I was gonna say, I can speak to that a little bit. So with fiber, I always wanna be cautious about it because remember now, fiber is in the ground. So construction can happen down the street. That's not our doing, and they can cut the fiber line. So, but we're always, they always try to be cautious. Anytime you're building and disturbing the earth, you have a potential of cutting the fiber line. However, that's why the strategy that Mr. Lewis recommended is that we run both networks parallel. So we will have two networks up until we do a final cutover.
And the other part I'd add to that is that before we actually cut over and put, the network up, we will test the fiber. So basically, the vendor will bring the fiber into the building. We will have the MDF room ready for that fiber to be terminated. We will test it and have it up and working prior to connecting any equipment to it. So we'll know that it's working and it's good before we connect any equipment to it.
Got it. Thank you.
Mr. President, I have a quick question.
Well, Ms. Bowman.
Thank you to KPS for keeping costs in mind. I think that's really important, and I want everybody to hear that, so I hope you'll all do that. We're, shocked with the situation we find ourselves in and really want to not add any additional costs that we do not absolutely have to have. And secondly, I'm concerned that there are no dates, because I cannot remember surely y'all have target dates, and so would you give us those as we go through, and maybe next time that we meet, we could have those, if not tonight?
I will have some dates once we start on our drawings, but right now, all of our dates are dependent on that.
And I can speak to the KPS dates. So for our drawing deadlines, March the 10th was our schematic design deadline, which we met and we're still progressing. April the 14th is our design development deadline, which is the drawings that Tim is mentioning he needs. So once we have that, we're planning on meeting. We don't anticipate any issue meeting that deadline. And then for construction documents, which would be the final phase of our drawing development, would be May the 26th.
And so the final, just the hoped for, I know it's a hope, plan, remind me again, next September, a year from this September?
May 26th. May 2026.
May 26th, okay, I couldn't remember that. Okay, thank you.
And then I do believe Mr. Williams has his schedule too.
Yep. You'll see a timeline at the end of the presentation.
Yeah. And, okay, and just as you go through this, any surprises that y'all have found, if you'll share those with us, we'd appreciate it.
Yes.
So our update this afternoon will consist of taking a deeper dive into the cubicles. As you see on the screen there, we've got about 125 cubicles. We placed a figure there so you can see with the user how much privacy he or she will have. Right now in the budget, we have this particular height, which is like 68 inches, and that's a pretty good height for privacy for both persons walking down the hall by the cubicle and the person inside the cubicle. We have did a rendering. Just know that these colors are the first preliminary go-round. We are working with the KPS team on the selections of the finishes, but you've got an ample amount of desk work surface available. They've got storage and guest chair. And here, if that was not enough privacy, you all determined that the first 68 inches was not, then we could go up a little bit more. And you can see where is total privacy, but then the cost goes up. The electrical, that's for the electrician that would be assigned on the project to come in and hot wire the cubicles to the building. And that will be coordinated with IT and KPS. Conference rooms, nothing changed here, just typical conference room. Every conference space that needs new furniture, not all of them will need new furniture. This is a typical, just to show you how the table would look with power and data. And again, a typical conference room. Larger, some would be larger, some would be smaller. And common spaces, I believe, you got vast hallways, and these lounge chairs will be placed outside of the elevators and in some corridors to break it up and to give your guests some places to rest and to wait. And that's it.
We're going to say for Steel City, again, I'm Willie Williams with Steel City Services, and as your project managers, our update reflects a truly collaborative team effort. Together, all of us are working closely with full awareness of your budget and your timeline goals to deliver you a project, a solution that we think is smart, functional, cohesive, and cost-effective, and time-sensitive. And let me say that we are committed to providing a high-quality outcome without compromising on efficiency and design integrity. For the roof replacement, we have recently completed the roof replacement assessment. And the goal for that process was primarily to identify cost-saving opportunities through a long-term strategic approach. And what I mean by that is that our evaluation focused on levels 7 and 12, and with those areas being as complex in design as they are very vulnerable due to age and weather exposure. So we assessed the current conditions and expected the lifespan of the proposed replacement system to ensure that the selected solutions would deliver the best long-term value. So we were given a task to move immediately with this effort, and our next step now is to secure competitive bids within the next 8 weeks, and our target is to begin the roof replacement work by June or July. So we've tested both the schedule and the budget, and we're confident in our projections. We do not anticipate any financial surprises or delays in construction regarding the roof. Next slide. I'm going to combine, if I can, flooring along with wall covering to just kind of save a little bit of time, but we've also, I want you to know that the project team, we really support your desire and your goal to move in quickly and to present a polished, professional, and cohesive image without overspending or compromising on quality or budget. In addition to the roof work, our assessment identified carpeted areas that can be professionally cleaned and reused, allowing us to preserve materials, reduce waste, and significantly cut replacement costs. This not only saves time, but it also helps BCS achieve a move-in ready space faster and more affordable. So we are evaluating, along with the architects, we are evaluating existing walls for budget reasons, but our goal is to determine which areas can be refreshed or replaced. But we've taken a selective approach to maintain a high quality and a professional polished look while minimizing material and labor costs, and at the same time supporting your goal for a professional polished finish at minimum cost. So both the flooring and the wall covering are in progress and nearing completion. And our next work session, we hope to have something definitive on that. But we, again, do not anticipate any financial surprises or delays in construction regarding the vinyl flooring and wall covering. On the construction schedule, I will say that we've had some interim milestones that have shifted slightly to accommodate some coordination needs. And at our next work session, we hope to have a revised project schedule and to show that these adjustments are basically finalized. But again, with this schedule and these slightly shifted milestones, I want to say that the timeline remains unchanged and we're still on target for our original completion date. On budget, even though our budget is not mentioned up there, I will want to say that we do not anticipate any financial surprises or changes in our budget. The current forecast remains steady, and we're staying well within the planned cost parameters. So I do want to say, if I can close, we, as your project team, we're trying to balance as much as we can cost savings with quality. And we are focused on protecting your investment, staying on schedule, and delivering an interior space that's polished, professional, cohesive, and move-in ready without compromising budget, schedule, or timeline. That ends our presentation. Yes.
Before you close completely, let Ms. Glover touch on the financials.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Board members, for the financial part of this project, the fiscal year for all 12 months would have started October of 2024. And for those 12 months, it will go through September 30th, 2025, this September. So because we're in the month of March now, all the data we'll be reporting just to get us caught up will be from October through the month of February. So as you can see on the spreadsheet, the few vendors that have been paid have been KPS, Steel City. The total for the month of October was the $152,000, $23,333.33 respectively for both November and the month of December. The month of January was $113,019, and that was broken out by KPS and Steel City. February, last month, we reported spending or paying out $23,333.33. And just to give a summary of those transactions, I listed it below. As you can see, it's basically the architect fees. Once the projects truly get going, we'll start seeing more of the spending. So overall, year-to-date, from this fiscal year, $335,789.99 has been spent. And just keep in mind, as the invoices are coming in, some invoices may have arrived in the accounts payable department, but this is just what has been truly paid.
Questions of Mr. Sullivan and Ms. Williams?
Yeah, again, just thank you for the presentation. As you know, we've been, anxious to hear updates for both of the major projects that we're working on. Steel City, you had mentioned something about 8 weeks for the roof. Is that for bids? Is that for the complete process to get bids and get a contractor working on it? Like, what is the 8 weeks that you had mentioned?
The 8 weeks primarily is assuming that we can get started within the next month. 2 to 4 weeks to put the drawings together, and then another 4 weeks to get it bid. We have to bid it, so that's what it's for.
Okay. You mentioned milestone shifts. I can't see it in the copy here.
Okay.
It was kind of off, but can you just touch on that a little bit?
The items you see in green represents where we are now. To the right of that, you'll see architectural design and IT design. The shift was basically in those categories, but primarily the date was from February 10th until March the 26th, which completes schematic design, design development, and construction documents. That's what that represents. So the shift basically includes those dates. within the schedule that shifted a little bit. That's what those revisions are.
And we're certain, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Our design timeline has been the same. We're not aware of any shifting. We have kept track to what we originally discussed with the team when we sat down, so
Those are the
as
dates.
far as
Those
we're
are the
aware,
dates
we're
we
on
talked
track.
about.
There's not been shifting.
That's my
on our
main
part.
question. We're on
Yeah,
track,
we
right?
are.
I know you had mentioned it
Yeah.
earlier. I just want to be sure
Yeah.
that everyone knows that. All right, thank you.
Ms. Williams? No?
I'll just comment, just thank you all. I know, we all know how we all feel about this, so thank you for what, the work that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, and then also preparing to come before us monthly to share. Be patient with us. We may ask the same questions over again, and it's just because that's just what we do. But we just want to make sure we're all on the same page and that we're moving forward with integrity. So for everyone that is involved in this, really want to thank you from the beginning to where we are today to get us to the expected end of 2101 being the building.
Yes,
Thank you.
Ms. Bowen?
Can you give us an update on the sale of this building and what the timeline for that is? And are there any surprises in any of the ways that we're going to collect the resources to do this?
Well, I don't think that he was prepared to talk about that today, but we can certainly give you an update,
next
because at this point, I don't see any major issues with the sale of the building that I'm aware of, but I can make sure Mr. King provides us with an update in the
I know they gave us
superintendent's
some
update.
extra time, is what I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, but-
And so I just want to be sure that doesn't end up costing us any more money than we thought it was going to cost.
Not that I'm aware of, and I can make sure that Mr. King provides us with an update this week.
And so I think that should be a part of our update every month. And then also, there was a desire by this board to be sure that the investments in our schools were proceeding, or that we understood more aggressively what is going on with those things we thought were happening in our schools, as the $70 million versus, and in addition to this. So that is, for me, that's an equal, it's equally important to be sure that we know exactly where we stand with all those commitments, which ones we finished, which ones are still outstanding, where we stand on those, and, and you can give that in the form of a, piece of paper that helps us look at that, and I would suggest doing that for us each month with an updated, as you update your proposals to us, or your information that you share.
Yes, ma'am.
And yeah, we're working on that, but I'll be sure to provide that to the board, so thank you.
Mr. Wilson?
Again, thank you all for the presentation. I'm curious about a couple of things. Those areas where the roof is going to have to be replaced, I'd like to know what kind of warranty are we looking at? And also, I didn't see anything about the auditorium. Have that design been completed? I look forward to see what that's going to look like.
Do you want to take the first? So the auditorium design, so we are progressing with that. In the schematic design level, we have stayed pretty much the same as our programming exercise that we had prior done. We're still doing on-site documentation with our engineers. And so on Thursday, we plan to return with them to evaluate the second floor to make sure nothing had changed, or to make sure we're in complete understanding of that space. It's continuing to develop, and we spoke with Devin, and so we'll be talking with Mr. Smith about BCS's needs for that space as we progress and coordinate with our engineers.
And on the roof, we have a roof on the 7th, I'm so sorry. We have a roof level for level 7, and then level 12 being on the tower. Your question regarding warranty would be a 20-year warranty on both roof systems. We're looking at replacing both roofs. Does that answer your question?
That answer my question. Thank you.
And if I just may say, President Meadows, I think your question was with the water that's coming in. Mr. Moore, Mr. William, and KPS, they're working on a patching until the bid process is done and we can do the work on the roof.
That's good to hear, Dr. Lamar. Ms. Williams?
I'm sorry, Dr. Sutton, did we, or Dr. Lamar, did we say, did we have a day that we were supposed to close on this building? That hasn't been said yet, right? I know there was a lot.
Attorney Parks, do you remember that date? I can't.
Let me look at my emails. We do have a date.
We have a date, but I can't remember what it is.
If you give me a few minutes, I think I can either, or I can text Marlon.
Okay.
But we do have a date set.
Okay, great. Just, and this, just reiterating, this was from Board Member Smith, just reiterating the question on behalf of her. Thank you.
Mr. Moore, it wasn't that bad, was it? Your first one.
You broke in.
Well, you're not done yet.
Mr. Collins. So I do apologize for my tardiness, but I got a few questions about the pre-K center. First of all, where are we on cost on that for the center? What are we projecting the overall dollar amount to be spent?
This, for clarification, he's asking about the pre-K center, so this is not you all's project.
Yes.
Yes, this would be directed to Mr. Moore.
Yeah, we're
and
going back.
I think a lot of the contractors left, so I don't know if Mr. Moore has the information, but they were here earlier. Yeah,
I don't have it now, but I can get it to you.
And how many pre-K classes are we gonna have in the building? 7?
7.
6 to 7.
6 to 7. And, oh, yeah, I ain't see it, what's she? Okay. And what grade levels are we shifting from Martha Gaskins?
K and 1, 5 of each.
K and 1, 5 each. Okay.
They're not all, those are all coming from Martha Gaskins, or, okay. So now Martha Gaskins is gonna be second grade through fifth grade?
No, it's going to be pre-K through 5th grade. This
Two
is just
different
an annex.
buildings,
Yeah,
two
it's the
locations,
same,
gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha. Okay, correct the language, Ms. Williams. I understand exactly what we were saying.
Which-
I
which-
get it.
Which was why Dr. Blackman is requesting the golf cart.
Oh,
So he
certainly,
can-
I understand.
So he can see both buildings.
Need a
yes.
couple of them. We need to make sure they say BCS.
Okay, so in my understanding, I know at one time we had talked about the teachers staying with the students, matriculating with them from, how does that work for us?
Okay, that's called looping, and that's something that Dr. Williams and I will continue to speak about, because they will go to, the kindergarten teacher will take them to, pre-K teacher will take them to kindergarten, and the first grade teacher will take them to second grade. And that keeps the children from changing and
Okay.
a chance to really grow. And by the time
So Arlene, for the people who are listening online, we probably need you to come up to the mic.
And I was trying not to.
So she'll
start
probably
that.
finish
You guys-
with this body.
I
and
think
then
we are.
bring
We
the
are.
former
Yes.
back.
Yeah, I think we are complete. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much.
Mr.
See
Meadows.
you all next month.
Mr. Meadows.
Yes.
And this is in line with what you all asked as it relates to the building. The closing date has been changed to May 27, 2025.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
closing date.
Arlene, come on up. So you get a second,
I'm so
second
sorry.
bow.
it's okay.
Yeah, Mr. Collins is getting a hard time from his colleagues about time over here, so.
And good evening,
I got the
everyone.
mother children I'm trying to work. So I'll be quick. You were explaining to us how that works.
Okay, so that's looping, and the children will have a kindergarten teacher, a pre-K teacher, and that same person will be their kindergarten teacher.
Okay.
So remember, we're going to have 7 classes, so if parents should opt not to want to have the same teacher, then we already have somebody that will be able to take care of that.
Okay.
So they'll have options. And that is why I said we're going to be so unique that people will want to come to us without having to test.
Got you. And finally, did we have some drawings of what the building? I saw some pictures of what they're doing, but what the final renderings should look like of the building, the inside.
No, but the walkthrough we had the other day will just make you know it's a dream school.
So Charles Williams is here. Charles, are you still back there? Or did he leave already? Okay. We can get the drawing.
And we can get
Okay.
you, yeah, video as well.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Williams?
Mr. Moore, can we schedule a walkthrough for the board?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I get what you.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you,
Williams.
Alex.
Thank you, Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
Mr. Moore,
Yes, sir.
I just want to make you aware with new employees that come in, whenever you lead a walkthrough, you must have snacks available for the board members.
Big walk, you got me.
Mr. President, we are very proud to have Dr. Ishman, Dr. Williams, as well as Mr. Tatum to come up. We have a real innovative program that we want to start over at Washington K-8, and I'm going to have Dr. Ishman to share the vision for moving forward at Washington K-8 through 8.
Good evening, board members, President, Dr. Sullivan. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And definitely thank you to the Dual Language Committee and those committee members. Some of them are here, but we have been charged by our superintendent to create a dual language immersion program at Booker T. Washington K-8 School. So once we were given that charge, we began very quickly moving in the direction of success, because we know success starts here. So we had to start immediately because we want this program up and going in August of this year. So just to begin, what is dual language immersion? It is a form of education where students are taught literacy and content in 2 languages. So our students at Washington, we have about 40% who are Spanish speaking. ESL students, we have about 59% African American and about 1% other. So of course, Washington was a great location for this program to begin. These are the 4 pillars of the dual language program. Our focus as we begin will be on bilingualism, biliteracy, and of course, academic achievement in both languages. So the purpose of any dual language program has to be academic achievement, because that's where we are with our students. And as a principal, of course, I wanted to make sure that we continued our success. We have seen academic success across all content areas at Washington, so we wanted a program that was going to fit in that same vein. So our first objective was to have English language learners who would be able to thrive in a language development program. Right now, most of our ESL students are with a pull-out model, but this model would update what our students can achieve across the board. Objective 2, our native English students and our ELs will learn academic and literacy skills in 2 languages through the dual language immersion program. So not only will our ELs benefit, but our native English students will also benefit from this program because they will be taught in 2 languages. Objective 3, students will have the proliferation of cultural responsiveness, so they will learn about other cultures in this particular class. Why dual language immersion? Research shows that students, regardless of their pattern of language dominance, who participate in a well-implemented program, they do achieve higher than students who are not in dual language programs. So, and I'll show you some additional data with this. Why dual language immersion? Partially as a result of the cognitive demands placed on students who learn content in 2 different languages, no other intervention models hold greater promise to narrow the achievement gap more effectively between high and low performing populations than language immersion. So students who have the pull-out model for ESL, they do fine. But when you do language immersion, we see a rapid growth in their academic achievement. Why dual language immersion? 3 benefits. Number 1, cognitive benefits, long-term academic success, and cultural competence. These 3 benefits alone are enough to show us that DLI is a prominent and a promising program to do for our students. So here's some data. This data came from a study in North Carolina. These students in this particular program were learning reading they were learning math and dual language, whereas reading remained in English. Even so, the students in blue were the students who did not have DLI at all. The students in green were in a school with DLI, but they were not actually in the DLI class. The students in red are the students who were in a DLI program throughout the year. Even though they were only learning reading in English, we see they outperformed their peers. In math, they were learning math in Spanish and in English, and we see that those students outperformed their peers. Here is recent data from Atlanta, and we did visit the Atlanta Public Schools to see their programs. And here, very similar to our Dibbles results, we see the students in DLI programs on the top line, and the next line will be the students who were not in the DLI program. And in both reading, math, and even in science, our students who were in the DLI program outperformed their peers. So this data from 2 different studies, 2 different states, also confirm that students in this program can and will thrive beyond their peers. All right, so these are the guiding principles for DLI education. We look at the program structure, the curriculum, the staff quality, family and community engagement, support, and resources. So looking at those principles, we created a committee in November, and we have began planning for this program monthly. These are some of the things that the committee has done. First, we have done 3 school visits. We have visited Atlanta Public Schools. We have gone to Illinois, and for those of us who attended the NABI conference, there was an option to do another visit in Atlanta Public Schools. We have created a DLI portal where each person in the committee is dropping information, research, and ideas as they learn and research. We also have planned a parent night in May that we would like to share this program with those parents who are interested. We have a DLI information booklet draft, and we also have begun researching curriculum resources, and we have created a schedule. So this is just a picture of the DLI portal where members of the committee are dropping their information. Now, these are the parameters that we are looking at for the DLI program. So at Washington, currently, we have a small elementary school. We only have 2 classes on each grade. So we have 2 kinder, 2 first, 2 second, and so on, just for elementary. So what the program will do, it will transform one of our classrooms to be a DLI classroom. The other classroom will remain 100% English. Parents can opt in to the program. They can decide, yes, I want my child in the DLI program, so they will go into that class. If they do not want their child in that program, then they will remain in the second classroom that will be all English. So that is our configuration. Now for curriculum, all the students in every class will be taught according to the Alabama State standards. The curriculum will be based on Alabama State standards. They will have to take the ACAP in English, and they will have to take the access test based on eligibility. So, more about our configuration. The program will include 1 classroom for pre-K, 1 classroom for kindergarten, and 1 classroom for first grade. So we will begin the first year with pre-K, kindergarten, and first grade. The K-1 classes will be composed of half English speakers and half Spanish speakers. And at this time, we are only accepting students who are zoned for Booker T. Washington K-8 school because of limited space. But we hope, of course, to expand on the success of the program. Pre-K students who are zoned for Booker T. Washington or Glen Iris will be able to opt into this program. If more students apply that can be accepted, of course, we will use a lottery in order to see who gets accepted into the program. So what would their day look like? So the students in the DLI program will begin in Spanish. I'm going to go over this slide first. So if I am a DLI student, I'm in the dual language program, I will be with teacher 2. In the morning, I will learn math and science in Spanish. Then I will go to teacher 1, and I will learn English, language, and social studies in English. If I am a kindergarten or first grade student, and I am not in the DLI program, then I will begin my day in teacher 1's class. I will learn my English, language, and social studies in English. Then I will go to teacher 2, and I will learn math and science in English. So the teachers will be departmentalized, but those English students will learn English all day in English. The DLI students will learn math and science in the morning in Spanish. Then they will go to teacher 2, and they will learn language, social studies, and reading in English. Okay, I hope that was clear. So this is some information about the instructional shift. We can see that the majority of the English and language will be in English. When it comes to the math, the majority, 20%, will be in Spanish, but there will be some intervention time where those students will get reinforcements in math. All of the science will be taught in Spanish, but there will be bridges to English. The students in the DLI class will also be taught Spanish, how to read and write in Spanish. So that is the target language literacy time. This is our yearly projection. The program will begin with pre-K through first grade and add a grade every year. So year 1, 2025, you will see a pre-K class, kindergarten, and a first grade. Then the next year, we'll add a second grade. The next year, we'll add a third grade. So those students will be able to be in a DLI classroom from kindergarten or pre-K all the way up to 5th grade. This is our goal by the end of April, to finish our DLI informational booklet, to complete our DLI application packet, to complete plans for our parent night, which we hope to have in May, finalize professional development for the summer, and get bids for curriculum and resources. And of course, with board approval, interview and hire staff. What needs to be done by May 30th? Onboarding for staff, attend the Chicago Professional Development, and every school visit that we've gone to have suggested that we go to this professional development in Chicago. Plan our July professional development, begin lesson planning for August, and have our parent night and student lottery if necessary. And so this was an example of a type of planning that was done that I saw in Atlanta, where the teachers have something similar to what we have for the Blitz. Their lessons are planned for the week, and they collaborate with each other so that what is taught in English is also the same as what they learn in Spanish. So our staffing needs, we need 2 paraprofessionals. That's $42,000 for each one of those. This staff will support and assist our bilingual students and teachers. We really need one DLI coach. This person will help guide the curriculum and lesson planning for our teachers. That's at $120,000. We also are looking for curriculum resources that will support the program. We want a well-stocked DLI classroom, resources for Spanish curriculum textbook and science textbooks. So the units for the 2 teachers will come from Washington. We've already looked at how that will work, so that will not be a cost for the district. Conclusion. The Dual Language Immersion Program is an innovative language development initiative that was envisioned by our superintendent. The program will be the first of its kind in Alabama and will support the increasing number of English language learners in Birmingham City Schools. The DLI program will also develop academic and literacy skills of both English and Spanish-speaking students in 2 languages. Students in this program will receive the same instruction in regular classrooms with an infusion of cultural responsiveness. The program will grow each year and give participants the opportunity to earn the Distinguished Seal of Biliteracy upon graduation. Of course, success starts here, and this is our DLI program committee: Ms. Blanco, Ms. Lopez, Ms. Matthews, Crystal Perry, Laterica Smith, Cedric Tatum, Alicia Washington, and Arlene Williams, with a special thanks to Dr. Williams and our curriculum department. So this is our presentation.
Board members, got any questions? Oh, there you go.
I'm so proud of Birmingham City Schools. I am just so excited and so proud. I was texting Mr. Meadows, like, can you hold the meeting, please? Because I'm just so excited about us actually living out and realizing the vision and our mission to be a recognized global leader in education. And I'm so proud of us, Dr. Sullivan, Dr. Williams, for being on the forefront of innovation and also just thinking about the specific needs and educational equity. Like, this is equity work that we're doing, and it's transformational for, like you've said, for both our English native speakers and those that are learning English as their second language. And thank you, Dr. Ishman, man, for saying this, we can take this on, like, we can do this over in Washington. I told Mr. Tatum, so I'm on the I live on the South Titusville side, so my future children will be zoned for middle school at Washington, but not elementary. And I said, we got to figure that out by 2030, 31, because I want a dual language baby, you know? So I'm just so excited about this, being in my neighborhood and being in my community. I want to add, for my colleagues, for those who were at the state championship game, they know that I during the timeout, I'm like, come here, I got to tell y'all about this. Had a chance to go to Gurnee, Illinois with this amazing committee and see it realized from the pre-K level all the way up to middle school. Had an opportunity to go into every classroom and see 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds, children who look like me, being asked questions. The class has been exclusively in Spanish, and they're being asked questions, and they're answering it in English, some of them, which lets me know that they absolutely understand, right? And the teacher redirecting them back to answer in Spanish. It was absolutely amazing. And then if you go up to middle school, I got an opportunity to see students rotating to their different stations in the classroom. There were easy readers in Spanish, and there were some students reading chapter books in Spanish. And so you would see these middle school students reading their books in Spanish during their stations, and then they would kind of be whispering to each other, chatting in English. And so you know that they're fully immersed in this process. And then it was really awesome. I got to see a presentation and hear about students who had just learned about the 3 branches of government, and they had not even taken government in their native tongue, in English. And so they gave a presentation to their parents, and they're describing the 3 branches of government, and they only had the Spanish words for that. And I just thought that that was amazing to be even introduced to new concepts in a different language. To add on to what you said. So one, you mentioned some of the objectives, and I think one of the biggest ones, the study that you mentioned was a Thomas Collier study. This model, dual language immersions, compared to a traditional program of instruction, this is student inclusion instead of segregation and isolation. And so many of us, we know what it looks like when students are tapped and they're pulled and they go to a classroom all the way down the hall. But now this is a community that's learning together. That's one of the most beautiful things, I think, about this program. You also showed some data, and I just want to add a data point to it because you showed 2 points of data, but one of them from Gurnee, Illinois. Not only did they outperform their counterparts who opted out of dual language, but these students tested above the state average testing scores. So they tested above state average, and the English speakers in the dual language outperformed those who were not in the dual language program. And I just believe that there's going to be a huge appetite for this, starting now with pre-K, kindergarten, and first. And I think that we probably should get ready for that lottery system, because this is just, to be the first in the state of Alabama to offer something like this, it's just incredible, and kudos to Dr. Sullivan and his entire team for the work that we've put in to make this a reality for our scholars. This is what our community deserves. This is what our children deserve. And I'm just so excited that we're working toward this.
Ms. Bourne?
Thank you, Dr. Ishman and Dr. Williams. This is exciting, I agree. I would suggest, if you just heard that impassioned recommendation, that that Ms. Watkins, Ms. Harrell is invited to participate in the Program Planning Committee. Also, because I think the board would like to have representation, and she's obviously the right one. I think her connections in the community, at the churches, and will be really helpful to you. And with that in mind, I was thinking about HECA. Is HECA part of that committee as well?
No, not at this time, but we do at Washington have a connection with HICA. We were wanting, of course, the yes from the board before we put it out there in the committee. So we definitely have plans to involve HICA and other organizations to support our parents.
I saw your list of other partners, and that looked good too, but I just strongly recommend that they've got the connection to the community that can help us sell this, and we really don't need to shy away from doing that, along with Ms. Harrell. And the money, would you go back to the money slide and just talk us through that again? Because are those costs, those would be additional for the district, because, and you didn't include the teachers because they're already
Earned units, that's correct.
Yeah, earned units.
So those would be additional costs to the district, similar to what we do with our career academies, similar to what we do with pre-K, similar to what we do with our IB program. So this would be a district-level program, similar to what we do with the early college program at at Woodlawn, and then now at Winona. So it'll be one of our signature programs in the school district.
So the total, I'm not unhappy about it, I just want to understand it better, and I want to understand where the money is going to come from, too, in terms of that. So it's 42 plus 93 plus... Two of those, oh, yeah, okay, so the total is 120, the total?
62 plus 75.
Oh, multiple of those, okay, so y'all, could we, you don't have to do it now, but could you bring us that
Yeah, we'll have a
information, just so
budget.
we understand it?
We just wanted to expose you guys to it, but we will have a complete budget. In fact, Mrs. Glover is working on that budget as we speak, as we say.
Okay, great, and then where those resources, where we plan to get those monies would be helpful too. And that, we're voting on this in 2 weeks?
No, we're going to vote on so Mrs. Glover is going to bring with the budget amendment, the additional units, and so the board will vote on the units for the program.
Okay.
If they,
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. Go.
Thank you, Doctor. You have another question? Nianza? Okay, go ahead, Ms. Williams.
Thank you, Dr. Ishman, for this. As the young people say, Board Member Harville, yes, ma'am. The passion, you cannot not deny that. It is there. I remember when, to your point, you were pulling us aside during timeouts and halftime talking about your experience on the trip. I'm excited about this. I just have a couple questions about, I guess, depth and wealth of this, like the band. I know we're piloting this at Washington, but what are our thoughts around other schools? And I know it may be a little bit premature, but if we're making this kinds of investments, I'm sure we've already thought down the road about other schools, particularly on the eastern side of town, District 2 and 1. I know we would benefit, our families would benefit. So that's one question. Not quickly, but when you all set the date for the parent night, would you all let us know so that we can attend and support what is being proposed? And then the other question, and they're not hard, just a couple. I mean, just one more. How many students are we preparing for in each classroom since we're asking parents to opt in? I was gonna ask why we're asking parents to opt in, but I'm assuming it's because we only have the capacity for so many students.
That's right.
And your presentation was very thorough, and it made layman sense. Thank you.
Thank you. So typically, we try to keep it at 18, probably no more than 21 in each classroom. So that's one pre-K, of course, it will have to be 18. Kindergarten, 18, hopefully no more than 21, and then a first grade class up to 21.
So, and we do anticipate growing pains. We really want this program to thrive, and so after the first year, we will be looking to determine what other site, and that was one of the things we learned when we first went to Atlanta, because the teacher said it was good to have other schools that were also doing the program. It's great to have your colleagues at the school to talk to, but when they started working across the district and other schools, they felt like the program was able to gather momentum, and that's how they were able to build out their program. So definitely the next year we will be looking to expand, and we'll look at our schools, that have that propensity to, really build out the program. Washington was just a great idea, but the space, that's an issue. So we definitely want to look at a school that has, the space as well as the students that could be in the program. So, yes.
No, this is great. It's really awesome. I'm thinking about, how much more innovative could we be with our schools where our enrollment is not as high as the capacity as the building. And so I think there's a great opportunities for us to look at, what more innovation we could institute within the schools within our district. The last question I have is about staffing. I know you don't know, but are there special qualities, characteristics that our staff should have when working with something new like this? And are we going to tap into parents and their skill sets to even be aides to the teachers who are primary teachers in this offering?
Definitely. With our paraprofessionals, we're hoping that those people will come from the community. We do have 2 paraprofessionals now. They're biliterate, and they're big help in the school, so we're hoping to add 2 more additional people. Our parents, of course, will be open to apply for those positions. For our teachers, we're looking for those that have an elementary education degree who are biliterate. So, of course, that can be a challenge to find, but we would like to start now so that we can get those staff in and ready to teach in August. When it comes to the curriculum coach, that person will have a special set of skills because they will have some experience with dual language. Of course, we want them to be biliterate, and we want them to have an elementary education background. So just great teachers who have that biliterate background.
Mr. Collins, then Mr. Sullivan.
So I am excited about this program. I remember when we were becoming an authorizer for charter schools, one of the goals was that we were looking for charter that would do dual language. And so now I'm glad to see that we're taking the initiative to do it on our own. So I'm excited about that. The question I have, when you start to look at the other schools, are we going to be possible other schools to look at? Are we motivated, or are we driven by our Spanish-speaking population at those schools, or does that factor in
It's part of it, but I think it's really looking at the needs and the culture of the school. We had, at Washington, we had a great leader, of course, who was willing to take on the project, but then she does have a high EL population, so that could be a factor. When we went to Atlanta, one of the things we learned, you gotta have the school that's willing to do that. You gotta have a community that will support it. So there are a lot of factors that we are look at, but we also want equity across our district. If this school will be on the west side. We definitely want to balance that on the east side. So a lot of factors will go into play. But we will definitely try to find the right next school. It may even be multiple schools. It just depends on what's the best fit. Because like Board Member Williams said, we want our schools to have high quality programs unique to their culture. So if another principal say, hey, I'm willing to try it, depending, they may be able to do it. But we want to make sure we can get the blueprint correct first so that we can scale it out.
Good morning, good evening, everyone. I do want to add, and Dr. Williams touched on this,
It's like the voice.
and that is balancing the
It's like the
opportunities.
voice from heaven.
I don't know about the Mobile, maybe, okay?
He don't went up to the upper room.
Scared me.
Nah, but Dr. Williams touched on this, balancing the opportunities for everyone. And so we know that the state and the nation has kind of moved away from the word equity, but we are very focused on making sure that we're balancing the opportunities. So this is a great opportunity, we've said, for the Titusville community and those students that are sitting at attending Washington. So there is legitimately a question around how can we give the same opportunity to others? That will be driven by the data that we get out of this program and how we move forward. And as Dr. Williams said, the capacity for everyone to actually embrace the program to make everything come to fruition. With that said, I just didn't want to miss an opportunity to say thank you to Dr. Ishman. So many times when you're sitting in her chair, you don't get your flowers until a lot later. But she has really embraced this and the research and just really have taken hold of this opportunity. So I just want to say thank you to her and for the work that she's been doing alongside of us.
Mr. Sullivan, then Mrs. Harville.
Yeah, again, I'm excited too as well. Again, when we talk about innovation, this is what it looks like. And my question is more towards, and we may not have the answer right now, but we are asking parents to opt in. Do we know what it looks like if, for whatever reason, hopefully it never happens, but what if a student wants to get opt out, and then if we come in that situation, do we have a process how we would handle that?
Well, we would like to see the parents stick it out with anything that is new and challenging. Of course, there will be some bumps in the road. We've thought about homework help, how we can support those parents. But when you start a program like this, you have to really encourage them to take the long haul and not quit. With talking to other districts, they have really encouraged the parents to stay the entire year. So at the end of that year, if it just doesn't work for your child, then of course they don't have to opt in again. And one thing I didn't say was we will not have parents opt in after first grade because we want it to be a success. We would love to be able to say just jump in, if your child is older and we want to offer this to you, but we want to see success. And so with visiting the other districts and looking at research, K1 is the best time to opt in. After then, we just cannot allow it unless you're coming from another dual language program or you're biliterate. So we want it to be a success for all of our students. And of course, parents can get a little nervous, they see it in other districts. During the year, looking at homework, how do I help them? What do I need to do? But that just comes with us building a really strong parent support system through community members, through training, and the parents will come. The ones that opt in, I believe they will come to those trainings and they will allow their students to continue with the program.
Okay, thank you. And sounds like y'all had already, that's what the research is for. So I just wanted to be sure that we were prepared for things like that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Harville.
And Board Member Sullivan, I'm sorry, one other piece on that is, remember this is still school, and any student who is having difficulties will receive the same support that they would normally receive. So we expect that the kids may struggle some, but they'll still have tiered supports, tiered instruction. They'll still have, tutoring support, just like they would in any other program. So we don't want to see parents hit a wall and automatically turn and want to change, because students that are in the other programs will not have that option either. We have to make sure that we're giving them the support that they need in order to be successful. And so those pieces will be in place for this program as well.
Ms. Harville.
Thank you. I had a couple notes that kind of touched on some of what my colleagues asked, and it's a little bit of a reiteration of what Dr. Ishman just shared. So I was going to also mention the school that we visited that first grade was the last grade where they could opt in. And also the schools are asking parents to commit until fifth grade. And typically what they have found, majority of their pre-K and their kindergartners are opted into dual enroll, the dual DLI program. For parent support, some things that we can consider, there's a dual language advisory committee that one district is doing, Latino literacy, and they also have Spanish classes support, because you remember there are English-speaking children that are in the program whose parents may not speak Spanish. And so they offer Spanish classes for support for that as well. Ms. Williams, you mentioned parents. And the schools that I visited, most of them did have parents from the community who were in as, they have something called the Parent Mentor Program. And Dr. Williams, I think that United Way may have some type of grant funding for this, but with the Parent Mentor Program, parents come in, they help in the classrooms and around the school, and we can create almost like a grow your own program where the parents that are helping out, we can get them certified if for some reason they don't have that certification. And then those parents could potentially apply to be paras. So that's what one of the school districts is doing. And they said that United Way offered the support for that. The other thing about the challenges, if for some reason, just finding about literate teachers locally, there were recruitment efforts with visiting international teachers in Spain. And I think there was a program in Puerto Rico.
Yep.
And then there's also a visa sponsor program.
Yep.
So possibly the Chicago Greenhouse could be a resource to ask questions about the visa sponsor program.
Mr. Billups.
Just say one thing. I just want to say thank you guys for the thoughtfulness, the dedication that your entire team has committed to this work. It is very evident that you have been very intentional, again, and very thorough in your presentation. And so I think it will be, hope to say that we're in full confidence with Dr. Ishman being at the helm of this, the entire team working together to see this to fruition and see it done with excellence. So thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Bourne.
A quick question. I know you were a governor's turnaround school.
Correct.
And got great reviews for the excellent academic success and growth that you had while doing that. I thought that got renewed, so will they have any bearing, could potentially provide some of the resources? And also, will we have to answer to them?
So it wasn't renewed, and our CSFO, Mrs. Glover, can talk a little bit about that. I think it was only during the term of the governor. Once the governor's term is over, which is this year, I think? Next year, that's when the funding ends. So, but our expectation is not that we would pay for this out of the governor's funds.
We would not? Okay, all right.
I concur with Mr. Billups. We have full faith in Dr. Ishman, and her work speaks for itself, and she's been a trailblazer, always coming to the table, innovative ideas, so I have full confidence in the program. My cousin, I was telling Dr. Sullivan, my cousin in Atlanta is a part of this program, and she is just flourishing, and it's impacting all aspects of her education experience, and so she's really doing well. I also love the fact that this is the only program, this will be the first in Alabama, and so again, just Birmingham City Schools leading the way, doing something innovative, and I want to say, in light of everything that's happening around the country right now, that where some people are vacating certain portions of our community, leaving them out to dry, not supporting them, Birmingham City is doubling down on our support for our citizens and for the people who make our communities better. And so we just want to say that we are so excited to offer something to say, we're not taking programs away, we're adding more programs for our diverse community. And so I'm just excited to see this come to pass. And again, it's Birmingham City Schools being a trailblazer for the rest of the state. So thank you all.
Thank you. Thank both of you. Dr. Ishman, Mr. Tatum mentioned this. Your leadership on this has been outstanding. I know when I came to you with this, you have really just taken on the mantle and just run with it. And I am so proud to see the work that you have done and the work that you will do with this. So thank you. Dr. Williams, don't go anywhere because you have to provide us with a update on our academics as well, our strategic plan. So I see Adrian coming over.
Yes, I will,
Wow.
they're coming, Dr. Keisha Chapman, Ms. Adrian Marber, and we have with us Mrs. Pamela Wimbush. They will, together, we will provide a update on the strategic plan, and we went back to the table. We wanted to make this as targeted and specific to the goals in the strategic plan, so I will yield to Mrs.
Before you all get started, Dr. Williams, Mrs. Harville wanted to make one last statement.
One last comment, because you said we were at the helm. Birmingham City is at the helm in the state of Alabama. What we found out is that the state of Illinois, through the State Department of Education, they actually have a mandate that if there's 50% of students in that school system that speak a certain language, that the school system has to provide those language services. So we saw Arabic and we saw Spanish in Chicago. And I just think that even without, the state telling us, BCS has stepped up and said, this is what we're going to do for our scholars. And we could even use, you all ask about expansion, we could even use something like that to determine when we look at our data, we say we have, X percentage here, it's 40% at Washington K-8, and then possibly, it's 40% somewhere else. We could use that as one of our metrics without the state. We're doing this ourselves.
Thank you, Ms. Harville. And I also want to give a shout out to Ms. Harville for being a part of this, taking of her personal time to commit to this, not on salary, but doing this because she just cares about the community. So thank you, Ms. Harville. Dr. Williams.
All right, I'm going to yield to Ms. Marbury.
Good evening. So tonight, we're going to have a strategic plan presentation about early learning and special education. Before we start, I want to just give another special thanks to all of the teachers, the principals, and the students that are continually adding their voice to our strategic plan. We are continuing to meet with them, learn from them, to see how this is affecting their day-to-day. Because we talk about things in this space, but we want to make sure we're being very responsive and intentional about the work that we're doing. So I want to thank them in advance. Tonight, just to remind you, we will continue to have monthly updates from our priority areas, and you see our 5 priority areas there. Tonight, we will be discussing academic achievement. These are our strategic plan baseline data. And I brought my laptop because I can't read that far. So just to remind you, we have our baseline data that's actually available on our website as well for all to see. I'll just go through them. First of all, we will increase the percentage of K-2 students on grade level in ELA measured by iReady data, to increase the percentage of K-2 students on grade level in math, increase the percentage of 8th grade students scoring proficient in ELA, as measured by ACAP, increase the percentage of 8th grade students scoring proficient in math as measured by ACAP scores, increase the percentage of students who are college and career ready, increase the proficiency for students with disabilities, and increase the percentage of English learners. English language with those proficiencies. And we will continue our strategic plan updates. Next month, we will have an update on community engagement and partnerships. In May, we will do parent and family engagement. In June, we'll focus on student well-being. And in July, staff effectiveness and district accountability and cohesion. And I will pass it over to Dr. Chapman, who will discuss early literacy and early numeracy numbers.
Good evening. Good evening. early literacy and early numeracy, iReady, as it was shown in the metrics by Ms. Marbury, iReady is the identified measure for our early literacy key performance indicators. For kindergarten, the calculation includes the striated green, which is mid or above grade level. For first grade, the calculation includes both the striated and the solid green bands, which include early on grade level and mid or above grade level. And for second grade, the calculations for proficiency, or for those on grade level, include both the striated and the solid green bands, again, which include early on grade level and mid or above grade level. And the data from the latest diagnostic, which was the middle of the year diagnostic, again, we do take iReady. I think our board members know this. We take iReady 3 times a year, beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of the year. And so from our latest diagnostic in December, the reading is measuring at 23% towards the year-end goal of 43% of K-2 students reading on or above grade level. This is over halfway. We're over halfway meeting our goal, and that was in December. For mathematics, the calculations for mathematics are the same as they are for reading, with who is included in the calculation, measuring proficiency or those on grade level. And the data from the latest diagnostic, again, the middle of the year diagnostic, shows that 13.3% of those students are moving toward their goal at the end of the year of 34%. And we have that. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, would you go back and help us understand?
Use your mic, Ms. Bowen, it's not on.
I just don't think we understand looking at this very easily.
Yes, so iReady measures, this is a 5-tiered chart that we look at for iReady. The striated green are those on and above grade level.
So would you walk through one of those and just tell us, so just
Yes,
look at the math, and that'll help us. We can get that then.
Okay, I can do first grade for mathematics.
That's perfect.
The striated green, those showing early on or above grade level, that's 5% of the students that took it. And at the end, the last column, you'll see that out of the 1,666 students enrolled, we had 1,567 students that actually took the middle of year diagnostic. 5% of those students that took the test are showing early on or above grade level. The solid green band are those early on.
That's
7%.
7%.
7%, yes, ma'am, 7%. The yellow band is 1 grade level below. 1 grade level below, and that is 73%. That's where the majority of the first graders that took the middle of year assessment scored. Then the red, there are actually 2 variations of the below. There are 2 or more or 3 or more, but as you know, they've only been in school 2 years, so they can't have 3 or more years. They've only been in school 3 years. So in first grade, we see that those scoring 2 or more grade levels below is 15%.
And were we going to look at that compared to where they were at the beginning of the year or last year? I mean, I didn't see that on here.
So the baseline is taken from the end of year, last year.
All right.
And so we're tracking it. We looked at it at the beginning of the year, we're looking at the middle of the year, and then our goal is based on where we hope they will end at the end of year assessment.
And is there information on here about where they were at the beginning of the year, like what the growth looks like? Have you showed us that already?
We have, but we can show you that again. We brought that with iReady presentations earlier, but we can bring that back to the board again. And again, Mrs. Marbury went through.
Without it being in context for how much growth we've had, it really doesn't, I don't know, I don't see how it helps us understand how progress we're making toward the goal.
We can definitely bring that to you, Ms. Bowen.
Okay.
So again, we looked at our baseline. Ms. Marbury went through the baselines. The baselines for the iReady, the first 2, increased percentage of K-2 students on grade level in ELA and math came from iReady, and that was the baseline for the end of year last year. That was the baseline.
Yeah.
And our
Okay.
goals are for the end of the year this year.
So can you just take that one, increased percentage of K-2 students on grade level in ELA? It was the baseline was 39%.
Yes,
Our
ma'am.
goal is to get to 43, but does it tell us on here where we are? What percent? Is that the final slide?
Right here.
Right there.
This-
Okay, so we're,
Yes, ma'am.
perfect.
This
Okay.
shows the current data, yes, ma'am.
We're at 43%. That,
The current data shows increased percentage of K-2 students on grade level in ELA as measured by iReady for the middle of year, we're at 23%. That's our current. And this again was middle of the year, and the students did take that in December. And we'll take it again after the ACAP. And then for math, that second row shows we're at 13.3%. That's our current data. So that's showing where we are compared to the end of year goal.
oh, I see. Okay, got it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So there are things that we're monitoring to make sure we're going to meet the goal. We're taking actions right now to ensure we stay on track. We've been monitoring time spent on various platforms. We are monitoring students' time on the instructional learning paths in iReady, as well as students' time on the MyOn platform. And also data meetings focused on K-2 literacy and numeracy are and will continue to be the focus of principal and teacher PDs. And so that is where we are for the first two key performance indicators, early literacy, early numeracy, and we're also going to be looking at special education.
Ms. Williams?
Just before we move on, and you all may not, surely you will not have this data in front of you, but I'm just curious as to where we were last year for the middle of the year at this time in comparison to where we are this year with those
We
2
can get
percentage
that
points.
for
If you all could just share those.
Yeah, I think when we had the discussion, we talked about that data. So yes, we can definitely get that for
bring
you.
that back.
Because we compared, when we did our internal meeting, we
Right.
looked at where we were last year. That's why we were alarmed, but not so alarmed, but we'll get that data for you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So what we have on the screen is a longitudinal comparison for students with disabilities in ELA and math over the past 4 years. So we're looking at the percentage of students who are proficient, I should say, in ELA and math. So we start with the year of 2021 up until 2024, which is the December iReady data. So as you can see on the chart, the green is the Alabama State Department of Education over the state data, and then the red is our district data. So if you look at our trajectory over time, you can see both in ELA and math, we're seeing growth in our students in their proficiency level. So if you look at the comparison from 2023, we were at 4% in math. We're showing projected 6% as of our December iReady data. If you look at the ELA in 2023, we were at 8%. And we're projecting now at 9%. So our students with disabilities are showing growth. The next slide is what I want to show you. Earlier in the year, I brought before you ClassWorks, and we talked about that was going to be the platform that we were going to be utilizing to monitor our students' progress. So what we're showing right now is in the area of ELA, out of 1,370 students that took our fall and winter screener, 702 of those students have shown 51% of growth. 438, which is 32% of the students, have shown that they need less intensive support. So this data, in comparison to the data that we're seeing with iReady, is showing that utilizing these interventions, and so of course the interventions from our special education teachers, the students are showing progress. In the area of math, out of 1,182 students with the fall and winter screener, 552, which is 47% of those students, showed growth in the fall and winter assessment. 325, which is 28%, showed that they needed less intensive support. So what the program does, it puts the students on learning pathways very similar to iReady. So over time, it'll show whether or not this student needs intensive support, less intensive support, and it'll also outline their growth. So I just wanted to show you that as well, because it's definitely aligning with the data that we're seeing in iReady.
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry.
Ms. Boone?
So, is it accurate to understand then that there are 13, go to the page you just went to, 1,370 students that took both the fall and winter? That is the number of special education students we have?
That's just the number of students that are showing growth based on that particular number that took the screener in the fall and the
Not
winter.
special ed students?
Not overall, no, because all students won't be.
Yeah. There are some special education students who take AAA, they're severely,
Right.
have severe
So this
disabilities.
wouldn't be a
that
platform that
this
they
would
would
not be
utilize for us to do progress
appropriate to
monitoring.
test them.
But do we have 13,700 students that are identified as in need of special ed?
We have over 2,600.
2,600, okay. And the goal which goal are we looking at for special ed? What does it say?
It states that the students will show. Increase the proficiency for students with disabilities.
Increase the proficiency for students with disability from 7 to 9%. What does increase the proficiency mean?
So it means the same thing as we're looking at just all students. So we're looking at this specific subgroup of students.
I see, okay. You're 2,600, okay. And increase the proficiency meaning that just any kind of increase counts on this one?
So increased proficiency, same thing as for non-disabled students.
Yes.
We just have put these students in a subcategory just to monitor the trajectory of their proficiency.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Ms. Williams?
Just want to thank you, not discounting anyone else's presence, but I remember, and just the board, Dr. Sullivan, everyone, because we historically have not had a intentional sort of around our strategic plan interest around our special needs students. And so I think this communicates to the community and to the staff that, first of all, that department is extremely important and valuable in the work that we're doing. We're making investments with our community partners for our special needs students, but we also are now making intentional, not that we haven't, but on paper as a part of the strategic plan, making intentional efforts for our special needs students to get the supports that they need. Really appreciate the way it's easily readable here. Maybe next time, so you don't get asked a lot of questions, we could see it in a similar way, just the growth with the years on the way she demonstrated with our special needs students on page, I don't think that was page 12.
A line graph.
Line graph, because it offered the years, and then we see the state, and then it'll stop
And
us
the
from
goals,
having a
and
lot
the
of
goals and the
questions.
objectives on the same page, so we don't have to flip back, you see what I'm saying? That would be helpful to me, to have that understanding in one page, that here's where we are, here's where we're going, here's what the data says, instead of flipping back to the original goals.
I do want to add just one thing about, thank you all again. Thank you, Ms. Wimbush. So impressive to see our data on par and outpacing the state in areas that speaks to the commitment, intentionality of your program and your department. Also, my concern is just, this might not even be reflected in the data. It's just, I know we do have some new principles, and just when we talk about tracking on our ELA and math, just hoping that we continue to put the support. So, I mean, we did promote 2 of our high-performing principals. Y'all know I've been on this a while in Dr. Drake and Dr. Washington, and so I know that those schools those students are in those numbers, and I just would hate to see those schools make a major decrease, and so just hoping that our programs are supporting those principals around just getting students ready for ACAP.
Yes,
So,
we just had a principal meeting last week, and one of the sessions, which every principal meeting, we try to do data sessions, but one was really on ELA and math data, where the CNI team, led by Dr. Washington, actually, met with every grade band principal and shared their SAVIS data, because that is one of the data points that we've highlighted for the day-to-day teaching. So yes, we're constantly reminding them of their data. They're doing their data in their network meetings, and like you said, those new principals, they're getting that support to make sure that they're constantly looking at that data, because we don't want to lose the gains that we've made.
thank you, Alice.
And the numbers on the bottom increased percentage of K-2 students on grade level, see that bottom line? Doesn't
That
have-
was a error. We typed the same goal. If you notice, it's the same K2 ELA goal as the top. So it should have been deleted, just an error.
Okay, I see. So you got that one up top, yeah. Okay.
Thank you,
All right,
Dr.
thank you, Dr.
Williams. Thank you, Ms. Marbury. Mr. President, that concludes our presentation, so we'll start with our agenda items. I'm going to ask Mrs. Brown, I believe it is going to come up with the TFA contract. Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Lamar. I know somebody was from HR. Dr. Lamar, the floor is yours, sir.
Good evening, Board President, Vice President, Board, Dr. Sullivan. We're here for a recommendation for approval to be granted to renew the contractual agreement with Teach for America to recruit a total of 30 first-year teachers and continue with 21 second-year teachers for BCS at a cost of $255,000. And I'll turn it over to Julia Gordon at this moment.
Hello, good evening. My name is Julia Gordon.
Good
I'm the
evening.
Managing Director of Partnerships at Teach for America, Alabama. Thank you for having us today, having me today. So at Teach for America, our main focus is for one day all children to have an opportunity to attain an excellent education. And we do that by finding those promising leaders, putting them in a position to directly impact students and schools, continuing to develop them so that they are having that collective leadership over their entire career. So we set a goal in 2020 that by 2030, twice as many children in Birmingham will be on grade level, specifically looking at third grade reading, fourth grade math, and benchmarking on the ACT as indicators that they are on a path to that economic mobility and have a future filled with possibility. So currently in Birmingham City, we have 37 first and second year teachers, and then another 17 teachers who have continued teaching beyond their initial 2 years. We saw a 10% average increase on ACAP in 2023-2024 school year, and then a 95% retention of TFA teachers. Beyond the numbers, you can see the ways that our teachers are continuing to lead in their schools and expand opportunities for students. Ms. Rafiq at Washington K-8, her students placed first at the BCS Science Fair. Mr. Maloon at Woodlawn High School his team won the Academic Bowl. I think that was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago now. And then Ms. McRae at Ramsey received a $1,000 grant from Chick-fil-A to support their math team. So our priorities, our real passion at Teach for America is ensuring that education is the top priority at every household and the number one conversation at every dinner table, whether they're full-time careers in education or they are champions of the work that we're doing. And so our main focus is ensuring that we have the talent in place to lead to that work, that talent is then effective, that they are developing effective practices across their career, and that they're doing that alongside other leaders, community members, in coalition with others, and that ultimately we are amplifying the work that not only we are doing, but that is happening in Birmingham City schools and across education in Alabama. So some of that coalition work, some examples of how we do that. This year we launched Catalyzed Chats, where we bring in national experts to work with local leaders to share best practices, research, plan, collaborate. We're also members of coalitions, including the Every Child Alabama Coalition, which is currently advocating for a funding formula that better meets student needs. We also host the Alabama Opportunity Summit alongside A+ Education Partnership every year. This past fall, we brought together over 350 participants. 40 counties were represented, another 40 organizations participated, including Birmingham City Schools. All of our professional development is open to Birmingham City Schools employees as well. And there's some photos there of them. So here's how we do the high quality talent. We're constantly innovating to ensure that we have the talent in place. So we have local recruiters on campuses across the state. As a result of that, we saw that 60% of our incoming corps members are actually from the state of Alabama. They have roots here. They are committed to this place. We also have external partnerships, such as our partnership with Breakthrough Birmingham, where we're seeing the members of their program join our program and become those full-time teachers in classrooms. We also have an Ignite tutoring program and recruit those tutors to then become full-time teachers as well. As far as continuing to develop our members, it starts with our incoming teachers. We partner with Birmingham City Schools and Dr. Williams to have our teachers start their training in summer classrooms in front of Birmingham City School students. They're getting feedback, they're participating in sessions so that they are ready for that first day of school. We continue that support with our core member programming, making sure that our first and second year teachers receive best-in-class coaching and also access to a suite of resources and materials that really create an ecosystem of support that propels their leadership forward. This year, we also piloted 2 new programs, including Pathways to Progress, which expands our support beyond our members and provides professional development opportunities for principals, an instructional coach in the building, and then teacher leaders who are directly supporting those incoming teachers as well. We also launched the Ignite tutoring program, which is using that research-based practice to focus on school needs, specifically with tutoring at Barrett Elementary in 5th grade reading and 2nd grade math at Hudson K-8. So a little bit more about that Pathways to Progress program. Currently, we piloted that with Hayes K-8, Barrett Elementary, and Hudson K-8. So those principals had the opportunity to attend an excellent school visit in Philadelphia last month that was specifically focused on literacy initiatives alongside other school leaders from across the country. We also had instructional coaches who received transformational coaching training and a certification. They also have access to an ongoing professional learning community alongside other instructional coaches from across the country. And then finally, those teacher leaders are getting that one-to-one support in supporting other educators on their teams and in their buildings. So here's some videos. I'm going to skip these for the sake of time, but we're happy to share with testimonials. And then our Ignite Tutoring Fellowship, I mentioned, it really was designed around the relevant research around the impact of high dosage tutoring. These sessions are held during school hours. They are virtual, where a tutor is working directly with 3 students. And it uses the curriculum that the school is already using, and we're also looking at that iReady data, so the assessments that the school is already focused on as well. Just after the first round, so at the mid-year, we saw 46% average iReady growth in 2nd grade math at Hudson K-8, and then a 19 points average iReady growth in 5th grade reading at Barrett. 100% of those fellows reported that they feel confident in showing children and helping them understand material, and that they were getting that support from the Ignite team. And both principals have shared that the program is aligned to their school goals and that they'd be excited to continue. So our contract today is focused just on the new teachers for next year. So this would be a continuation of what was in place last year, which would be up to 30 new teachers, as well as the 21 continuing second-year teachers, each at $5,000 per teacher for a total of $255,000. And so, thank you, and any questions?
Mrs. Williams and Ms. Bourne.
It's hard not to just have a comment. I just wanted to shout out the Catalyze chat. I attended that, of course, some of the other events that you all have, but I met Mr. Malin at Woodlawn. He in real life, or prior to becoming an educator, he is a lawyer, and so we had a really healthy conversation about why he left that profession to come into education, and he wanted to give back. He said he was intrigued by what the news was sharing, just on all the things that are positive towards students and affording them opportunities. So he wanted to take advantage of an opportunity to go into the school and teach. And so I just thought that was really awesome, and a kudos to TFA, whether you all recruited him or he decided to connect with TFA. I just think it's a great vessel to get professionals in front of our students who are non-traditional teachers.
Yes, bringing that expertise and experience directly into the classroom.
Ms. Baum?
Hi, thank you. I'm excited about this. So I think you said this, but there were we got 30 new TFA folks last year, and we'll get 30 again this year, new ones?
I don't believe we got there. We started with 21.
21. So this is an increase from last year.
This would be the cap. So last year, our contract was up to 30. We increased last year from that cap being 20 to the 30 to have that option to hire that many.
And the reason we didn't get to 30 probably is recruitment, that y'all just weren't able to recruit?
It was a combination, yes, recruitment.
Okay. And are teachers put in class in schools where there is already a TFA member present?
We definitely work to cluster our teachers. We've seen that that has a positive impact on their success, and also we want to make sure that our impact is concentrated when thinking about those wraparound services. So we do work to do that. I work alongside Dr. Classberry to determine which schools to prioritize, and we kind of go through a matching process where we're looking at the needs, the preferences, and aligning there.
Okay, thank you very much.
I just want to say it's money well spent, and the data, not because I think highly of you all and Julie and Brian, but the data just aligns. Districts like ours, we can't do this work without these types of partnerships and helping us to retain and to recruit. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Sullivan?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, you answered one of my questions, but just again, thank you for what you do. Hayes and Barrett, there are two schools in my district, so I have talked with the principals there, and they are excited and happy to work with you all. So I just wanted to make sure I shared that with you all.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Sullivan.
All right, thank you, thank you. Mr. President, next we're going to bring up Dr. Hines as well as members from Sanford University. We are extending our partnership with them, and Dr. Hines is going to share what that looks like. So Dr. Hines, Dr. Witherspoon, come on up. Dr. Hines, the floor is yours.
Good evening.
Good evening.
To our board president, our superintendent, and other board members. We are here to request that we grant partnership with Sanford University in the amount of $95,000 for an advanced degree in instructional leadership programs for certified employees. We have a short PowerPoint that we're gonna, these ladies, Dr. Witherspoon and Dr., I want to call you, so it's okay.
It's okay.
Beckham. We know each other, and we always go by first name, so now it's like, okay. So, Dr. Beckham, I'm going to share with you.
Thank you, Dr. Hines. Dr. Sullivan, board members, thank you so much for this opportunity to give you this update and to share about the partnership so far. For the 24-25 school year, we have had 10 Birmingham City Schools certified employees as our students who started the program five started in June of 24 and 5 started in August of 24. 3 of those 10 students will finish this semester in May. 4 will complete the program after the summer session in July, and 3 will complete the program in December. The reason for those differences is because of the degree attainment they had already had when they came to the program. Those who were seeking the full master's degree and leadership certification required 10 courses, and those with a master's degree already who sought the 18-hour certification required only 6 courses. And because we had 5 who started in June and 5 who started in August, and they were mixed groups of masters and 18-hour, then that determined their finish dates of May, July, and December. And even though our program is hybrid and students attend classes over Zoom video conferencing, we like to connect with our students personally. So we visited every one of our students, your certified teachers, in their work environment, and we provided a little swag for them from Sanford. And you see Diamond Gates in this picture, you see Janice Leonard, and you see Tamara Sharp. One of the highlights of our program is the use of guest speakers who've implemented innovative strategies and programs from a variety of schools all over the state. And we also provide mentors for every student so that the mentor would be another layer of support to help them with their action research projects, because that's sort of their capstone type project at the end of their program. Your emerging leaders are learning rigorous content with a focus on real and simulated experiences that school leaders need and will be able to use. Students have engaged in processes such as determining a school's core values, vision, and mission, a simulated continuous school improvement process, creating a hiring advertisement, and conducting a mock interview with our undergraduate students in teacher education. So we've created our own little partnership with Teacher Ed. Building a culture of character and self-assessing their professional dispositions and ethics. The students, your teachers, have expressed their gratitude to you all for supporting their educational journeys and their enjoyment and learning in the program. And these are just a few quotes from them, and I'll allow you time to read those if you'd like. And likewise, our professors have expressed how excited and impressed they are to have your emerging leaders in their classes. I had all 10 of your teachers, your students, for students in the fall for Foundations of Instructional Leadership, and they are all very sharp, and they are all already leaders in their buildings. So it's been a joy to have them and to be able to have this partnership. I'm really excited. I felt like I have a personal bond with each one of them, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds for them.
Thank you, and good evening, Board President, Vice President, Board members, Dr. Sullivan. It gives me great pleasure to be before you to represent Sanford University Orlean Beeson School of Education. I'm Dr. Monique Gardner Witherspoon. I serve as the Associate Dean for the academic unit, and I'm also a professor in ed leadership, specifically in doctoral studies, but I also support educational leadership. What you see before you is a financial investment that you have made with the scholars for the cohort for 2024-25. What I can tell you is that your investment has meant a terrific amount to us. You are one of our most significant partners. We value all of our scholars that come through the program, and I have enjoyed getting to know every one of them. And just as a side note, I am recruiting each and every one of them for doctoral studies. Our goal is to build leaders, and you have provided that pipeline for us. And so what we would like to do is, in return, give the very best of us to your scholars to build that pipeline and produce a future for instructional leaders. Thank you for the investment of the $72,000 for 2024-25. And as you can see, as it was mentioned earlier, the 18-hour certificate program, 5 students, and the Masters of Science in Education, 5 students for a total of 10. And the cost per student, and of course, the $72,000 contribution. We thank you for that.
So we're hopeful that Birmingham City Schools would like to continue this partnership with Sanford University. And to that end, we have proposal information for another master's cohort to begin the summer session in June. The plans of study, as you can see, they would be 2 courses in the summer 1, which would be the month of June, 2 courses in summer 2, which would be the month of July, and then 2 courses in the fall, 2 courses in the spring, and 2 courses in summer 26, summer 1 of 26. So your master's cohort students who started in June of 24 and are finishing in June of 25 were the ones who would take all 10 of those courses. And you can see the 10 courses, diversity, foundations of character education, building a culture of character, assessing character, foundations of instructional leadership, which is one of the first courses they take, school finance, management of school design, leading special populations, school law, and then an internship in instructional leadership. The ones that have an asterisk are online courses only, where they just work through, on Canvas, they work through the assignments. The other courses they have with us as their professors. And then those who take the 18-hour certification who already come with a master's degree, they have 2 summer courses in summer, 2 courses in the fall, 2 courses in the spring, and they're finished. And those courses, out of the 10 that you saw, those courses are leading diversity, foundations of instructional leadership, school finance, management of school design, school law, and the internship. And this proposed cohort would start in June with a completion date of June 26. We can take up to 10 in a cohort. So 10 students that would be selected, or 10 certificated employees that would be selected by you as potential leaders. And then the cost to Birmingham City would be $95,000 for those 10 students. The cost could be a little less depending on which of those might already have a master's and just be planning to take the 18-hour certification. We also have a proposal, just for you to see, for an EDS program of study. If you all wanted your master's, any of your certificated employees with a master's degree already, to go forward with an EDS, which is the educational specialist degree. It also includes the AA certification. So it is a higher level of certification and a higher level of pay for your employees. Those courses, business management, strategic planning, academic leadership, organizational innovation, more legal and policy in education, professional development and mentoring, advanced evaluation of teaching and learning, leading in a diverse society. These are higher level, more in-depth courses than they had even in their master's program. And then action research. So a proposed EDS cohort to start in August of 25 with a completion date of December in 26. And that would allow some current master's cohort members to participate. Again, a cohort of 10, up to 10, and they would be selected by you as potential leaders.
So what we wanted to do is talk about the costs for the MSc and the EDS cohorts. What we did for you here is provide exactly what the costs per credit hour would be for students that would participate in the program. And that includes the scholarship benefit and investments therein that we mentioned. And as you can see, it amounts to $341 per credit hour for Sanford for these students to participate and matriculate through the program. We did a lot of the legwork for this, and certainly it is advantageous to our students, so we budget accordingly to make our contribution. Next slide, please. We also wanted to talk about the estimated costs for 2024-25. What we have noted here for you is the master's program. It is a 30 credit hour program, or 10 courses. Without the investment, $28,710 would be the cost, and in addition to that, there would be approximately $2,000 in fees. That's an estimate. With the Sanford Scholarship, it is $900 per course that we invest, and of course, with the investment of Birmingham City School Scholarship, the cost for the master's is estimated at $11,000. The same holds true for our 18-hour program, 6 courses here, for a total of 18 credit hours. $17,226 would be the cost of tuition without the investment. And then, of course, the fees next to that. After the investment, the estimated cost is $6,500 for the student. And then for the EDS, 30 credit hours required there for 10 courses, $28,710, $2,000 in fees, and with the program, it would be an estimated cost to the student of $11,000. We wanted to frame this out for you so you can see that our investment plus your investment is a huge investment for students with this program. I also wanted to add that we have a number of cohorts across the state. And certainly, we certainly want to continue to foster this partnership with Birmingham City Schools to be a part of those wonderful cohorts. I also wanted to just add, because I think it's just important to note just statistically, as we talk about investing in leaders and building a pipeline for leaders for the future. We have the largest number of sitting superintendents in the state of Alabama out of our programs, our doctoral programs specifically. And so we want Birmingham City to be a part of that number so that we can continue, Mr. Board President, Vice President, and Dr. Sullivan. It is critically important that we continue to foster a partnership with you and everyone across the state. Next slide, please.
We propose, this is you, sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. So here's the proposed proposal that we have for Birmingham City. With the MSc starting in June of 2025 and a completion date of 2026, June specifically, and 10 courses with 10 students, there's an investment that we would like to propose of $95,000. This can also include, because remember, we do have students that already have a master's and only need the 18-hour certification. And certainly we can account for that. It could be a mix of the two for that $95,000. And then what we're also proposing is, perhaps it was mentioned earlier, the EDS program, a cohort there, to start in August of 2025 and a completion date of December 2026. That would also involve 10 courses, and with 10 students in a cohort for the EDS program, it would also be $95,000.
So we propose a virtual interest meeting on April the 3rd for both both the master's 18-hour and the EDS program if there were interest. We would have interviews. We do virtual interviews either the week of April 14th or April 17th or April 22nd. The candidates would be selected fairly quickly, and then we come to you to do an admissions workday. So if the candidates needed assistance, needed information about filling out applications, then we're there to provide that support, and then the applications would be due May 1st to be able to have that June start. The EDS program would be very similar, except the start would actually be in August, so the application would be due in July. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Are there any questions?
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
So this is an excellent school to
Next.
to get anything from.
Go Bulldogs.
So I am a proud alumni of Sanford University.
Awesome.
So I thank you all. And I think it's an excellent, exciting opportunity. So our employees get to get a master's degree basically for free.
For 1/3 of the cost.
For
Right.
1/3.
Right.
Okay, so they have to still pay something.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay. What was that? Okay.
Everyone has skin in the game.
Okay, well, good. Like I said, I think this is an excellent opportunity for our for our teachers and administrators, and to get a master's degree, and I'm excited about it. Like I said, it's an excellent university.
Thank you.
I'm glad.
Let me just add
Go ahead,
that
Doctor.
the students who are currently in the program, 6 of them are also in our Aspiring Leaders Academy.
That's good.
So we pull them right in, and they are going through our district level Aspiring Leaders Academy as well. and doing very well.
That's good. Mr. Billups?
Yeah, that was my question, so I do appreciate you alluding to that as well. The question I have was that in the agenda, it says there was for just one program, but we're actually looking at two programs, right? Or what?
Right now, it's one program, but we're looking to provide supports for that. We're looking to provide supports for that doctorate program. But for right now, because I think that they have to apply in April, so we have it on the special call agenda for tonight. And then looking at bringing back to the board for the other program for the doctorate degree.
Gotcha, okay. I know you also mentioned also about the swag. I would like to get my swag sometime here soon as well, so I would appreciate that.
I know y'all ain't gonna bring.
May I just make one clarification? It's an EDS program, but I'm coming after them for that EDD after, so.
Thank you, Dr. Witherspoon.
Ms. Bourne?
Yeah, and my question is, if we have only 5 participating, then our costs are less. They're not the full 95. It's dependent on, it's up to 10. And then also, I would consider this a continuing program, and so it's not listed as that in our sheet. We should just change that at the beginning. And our folks are all on track, so no one has dropped out at this point. And you expect all of them to graduate?
We do.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Ms. Williams?
Thank you. Thank you all for the presentation. Dr. Hines, do you know how many applicants we had for the program?
I am not sure.
Okay.
But it did exceed.
It exceeded?
10.
Okay.
Yes.
So it ended up being a competitive application
Somewhat.
process? Got you. And then, Dr. Witherspoon, or Miss Dr. Witherspoon, of course you are. Why would you not be, Dr. Witherspoon, advocating for the doctoral programs at Sanford? I love the stat about how many superintendents that you all graduated, the most superintendents across the state. Curious about those who finished in education from Sanford and that are teaching in BCS statistic.
What we can do, I can get that data for you. I don't have that tonight. But I do know that we have a fair number, and I certainly can get that from the teacher education department.
Okay.
What we do is we do track completers, so we have information whether they've gone on to work or they've gone on to get a graduate degree. So we can easily pull that information, and I will make sure to provide that information for you.
Got it. Thank you all. Thank you for the thorough presentation tonight. Thank you for the comments from the teachers that are participating and also the professors. Really happy about Ms. Gates from over at I See Where Mitchell. That is one of my schools, and she's been standout ever since she's been there. So that makes a lot of sense that she is participating in this program.
All of them are. They're all wonderful.
Yes, great.
Thank you, Dr. Hines.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Mr. President, we're going to ask Mr. Moore if he would come up for the purchase of new school buses. Mr. Moore.
Good evening again. This is the purchase of 10 new school buses. The recommendation is to approve the purchase of 10 new school buses from Southland Transportation for a total amount of $1.4 million. The source board membership number of Birmingham City Schools Education. This is to roll out those older buses that we've had in our fleet, and we purchased those 10 new buses to roll out those older buses.
All right, Mr. Moore. No questions.
No questions. Thank you, Mr. Moore.
Thank you. School buses are easy, Mr. Moore. Next, I want to ask Mrs. Stewart to come up with a contract with Summit Media.
Dr. Sullivan, can I ask a question? Dr. Sullivan, can I ask you a question? Is the opportunity to buy those electric buses not?
So I'm going to ask Mr. Dr. Lamont to speak a little bit about that. As you know, with the change of the administration, the EPA has been hit, we're getting those school buses, the electric buses from the EPA, and that has been a department that has been hit very heavily by the latest administration. But Terry has been on with them, so Terry, you want to give them an update around the electric school buses? I'm sorry.
Yes, so
Mike.
actually had a call with EPA today, probably about an hour before the board meeting started. We're still on track for those 15 electric buses. Right now, work is still going in progress, and we're working with Alabama Power to support the infrastructure for those charging stations.
Didn't we had a conversation, Terry, about around the person who was actually working with us and they chose not to move forward with the department?
Right, so the person that was originally working on that project no longer works for that department because of all the things going on with the EPA. And the conversation that was had with that company was he wanted something a little bit more stable. And that was the direct quote. So now we are working with the new person. The person is out of Atlanta, so a little bit closer to us, but we're still moving forward. There was a call with Ms. Glover, Mr. Moore, and many others today. So we're in a good place. Like Mr. Moore mentioned, we're putting those Alabama Power, communicating with them now. So we're still going to do it, but we got to have some more conversations about what all that means with the EPA and drawing the money down and so on.
And is Lion Electric still the vendor for that?
Yes.
And will we still need the 10 more if we get 15 of those? I mean, we're going to need these new buses you're bringing to us in addition to the 15 that we might get?
Yes.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. All right, Ms. Stewart.
Good afternoon.
Devin, looks like the mic is not working for her.
Something's on. I hear it ruffle. There we go.
We're gonna try this one. Okay, that's better. Which one? Which one was that, David? This one? Okay, got it. Okay. Good afternoon, Board President Meadows, Vice President Collins, Superintendent. It is my pleasure to come to you again today with another request. And this request is part of our ongoing efforts to better engage our community, our parents, our stakeholders, to inform them, let them know what's going on in Birmingham City Schools, and also assist us in reaching some of our goals. Today, I'm joined by Mr. Oscar Williams and Ms. Jen Davis of Summit Media. We have a proposal to do something a little different from what we've done in the past. And this, so I'm asking that approval be granted to better inform and engage administration, school, parents, and potential employees through digital and on-air communication with Summit Media, including the purchase of streaming access with a total not to exceed $97,000. And they're going to explain to you and share some phenomenal information about how we can achieve some of our goals. This will be used not only to do the traditional school starting in August, those kind of back to school, be ready day one. We're also going to be using this to push the messages about our hiring fair and our vacancies. We'll be using this to help push our registration efforts and to get our kids back in school on time and registered on time as well. So they're going to talk just for a few minutes and tell you a little bit about this unique program we have. Thank you.
Good evening, guys and ladies. Thank you.
Good evening.
For the invite tonight. So I come to you to tell you that I'm a product of the Birmingham City School System, have worked here and have managed to keep your cost flat for 3 years. So with that being said, I'm going to turn over to Jen Davis, who's going to explain how we're going to do the digital, which is geo-targeting and geofencing and streaming.
Yes. Thank you, Oscar. Hey, I'm Jen Davis. Thanks so much for having us out. I'm going to talk about the digital portion. So what you have in front of you is the radio portion, which is Oscar's side. I've got the digital up on the screen. It's several slides, but I'm gonna just hit the high points, keep it brief, but the important parts. So this is called one-to-one marketing. And what makes this unique is that journey you see illustrated across the top of the screen. So what this does is it starts with an email marketing piece, and this is sent to a selected group of people that match demographic information as well as geographic information. For example, grandparents, aunts, uncles, people with children under 18 in the household. And then maybe we add on zip codes, right? Specific areas where maybe there is lower enrollment, or maybe you want to hit all of it. We can get as specific as you'd like. So it starts with an email blast. And what's unique about the email is you're not, stuck on just one small, social media ad. You've got a beautiful long email with multiple call outs. So like Cheryl was talking about, you can do the hiring message, the enrollment message. If you've got something else going on, we can include all of that. Excuse me. So that email goes out. Once the person opens it, so you're going to have a pool of people who are interested, right, that open it. We then put them in a separate funnel, and they are retargeted for the next 30 days with Facebook ads and streaming TV ads as well as display ads. So they get that feeling of seeing your message for the entire 30 days from different avenues. It's a very cost-effective way of surrounding your audience. And again, it's those email openers who showed that initial interest. That's what makes it unique. A lot of times people are doing all of these separate tactics, but they're not working together. So this strings them all together. The messaging would be consistent across each platform as well. So that's the first part that makes this unique. The second part is at the end of the 30 days, you have the ability to provide us an email list of maybe your enrollments, whatever you choose to provide. And we match that back to the email list that we sent at the beginning of the month. So we're able to come back and tell you, hey, we matched 15 new students, came directly from this campaign. Again, that information doesn't leave anywhere, once you provide it to us. And it's your choice if you do a match back report or not. It's totally up to you. Another layer we can do is if you have a list of maybe current parent email addresses, send that to us and we'll suppress it from the list that we send out so that we're not, sending out to a current student that's not at risk to not enroll. So your money is spent to new students or re-engaging past students. The following slides go into detail about each specific platform. I don't necessarily think every single detail is important for this meeting. Email marketing, addressable geofencing, that's display ads, Facebook and Instagram marketing. Again, this isn't just spraying it, for the whole zip code. This is, again, those email openers. So these are people that we know that are in your demographic target. Audience target STV, so they saw your email, they saw it on Facebook, now it's in their home, so in the household, so you're getting the whole family that could possibly see it. Any kind of initial questions? I always like to stop kind of in the middle to kind of ask about how that platform, any questions there?
Just a quick question around,
Yes.
Mr. President, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. Just jumped in and started talking. So we're starting with the base will be emails first.
Correct.
And then from there is when we'll do the matching into follow-up
The
marketing.
back matching, yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Great. The next piece, this is not attached to the one-to-one marketing. So we've got our one-to-one marketing plan over here. Live sports is an additional opportunity that we wanted to share with you, and I'm going to get to the slide that is the best part. So with live sports, with Summit Media, what we have to offer you is instead of, just being on a certain channel with just basketball or just football or whatever you choose to go after, we have the opportunity to connect with everything you see on the screen. So if you wanted to be in every single NCAA basketball game, you could do that, or every single football game, or you could just do live sports in general, which is what we have in this proposal. And what makes that unique is it's a very engaged audience, right? They're there watching the sports game live. These are not commercials that run before or after, it's in the game. So that's what makes us unique. This media plan just shows you the breakdown of each tactic. I don't want to go line by line because they're also unique to radio. But this shows you, very detailed of every single product, its cost. And then you've got a monthly investment of $10,250, and that's inclusive of everything that's above that digitally.
Now, the geographical footprint would be Jefferson County, Shelby County, in which we're going to minimize the waste and target only inside those counties. So none of your ads will go outside of that. This is more of a sniper approach. It's where the millennials and everyone is. It's online, streaming. Most households have cut the cord. So I'm just going to explain it to you the way I did before in the earlier meeting last month. It's the wave of the future. It's where everybody's going. It's a sniper approach. And basically, a shotgun blast is the on-air. We use the on-air to scatter them into the digital space. So your messaging, everything has to drive everything to your website where the tracking pixels are. And when the tracking pixels there, we get them. Everybody has a phone. Once we geofence Jefferson County and Shelby County, we get the unique ID. And then we start serving those ads uniquely, specifically to you guys. It could be recruitment ads, whether we're looking for support help, bus drivers, lunchroom workers. It could also be important messaging, something that school is out because of water, heat, those type of things. And it's instant. We can change this. We can run multiple messages at once. This is what we're doing on the higher ed level with the universities of Alabama, Auburn, Alabama A&M, just to name a few, who's buying into the digital. This is how we also are recruiting the students. So that's the layman version. On the radio, I started out saying that we held it flat. I have not increased rate with you guys. We've been doing business now for 3-4 consecutive years. Your rate has been the same. I don't know anything, gas, milk, anything that stayed flat. But because I'm passionate about the city of Birmingham school system, my family were educators here. My brother's still working here for you guys. I just took a different path. But this is where my passion is. I want to help recruit and make BCS stronger. Any questions?
I mean, I don't really think there's, I could have stopped you earlier. You don't have to sell this. I mean, I think we understand that this is the way of the world, and education is now, it's a business, and our clients are our parents. And if we don't take this approach, then we understand what's the ramifications. So thank you, Ms. Stewart. I used to work in this industry, so I'm very excited about it, and I know that it's highly effective, and I've done it locally and nationally, and so it works. And so
I have a quick question.
Ms. Bowen.
So the amount that is listed on the cover sheet is $96,500 as the, and the contract you just showed us a minute ago took it to 120 with the monthly cost?
We're not doing every month. We're doing a total of
6 months.
6 months.
Oh, I see.
So it's
And then that, and then you add the radio on top of that. I see.
The radio and the digital will run April through September
Okay.
for that 6-month period, and that's it. And then we will reevaluate at that point.
Okay, so you might bring something back to us if you decide to keep going, but right now this is for 6 months.
It's 6 months, yes.
Okay.
Mr. Wilson.
I just wanted to acknowledge the effort, Mrs. Stewart, on your part, not just with Summit Media, because you know I'm not a fan, and I'm going to publicly say that. I'm not a fan of Summit Media, but I think this will be effective. I think it's brilliant on your part. It's no secret, but I mean, it is what it is. I'm not a fan. But I'm talking about the radio aspect of it. You understand what I'm saying, Ms.
Yes, I
Stewart?
understand.
I think it's brilliant, and also I want to acknowledge that you have been intentional about making sure that the black-owned radio stations, the black-owned radio stations in this city have also gotten an opportunity to get our message out. So I wanted to publicly commend you on that. And let me be clear again, because I know sometimes I don't complete my words and people misunderstand. I'm not a fan of Summit Radio. The radio aspect, I think this is great. Thank you.
I also want to go back to the a piece that we can track the actual students that we receive. So I think there's a portion that's on our end as far as making sure that we follow the emails and that we can communicate that information back. And I think that's very important for the board in future decisions to be able to say, you know, I guess in the intake process, where did you hear about us? And so, okay, yeah, just making sure, because I know you all mentioned that, and that's on our end to communicate that back. And I think that just makes the presentation next year to say that we led you all, you know, X amount of students, this amount of employees. I just think that's important to help sell. So, yeah, hopefully we can do that on our end.
I apologize, Mr. President. I think what we neglected to say is with this digital campaign, we have capabilities to have a progress meeting every 30 days to go over reporting the growth. We can also change on the fly. All those things are capable. I'll let Jen speak to the reporting
Yeah,
aspect.
absolutely. Every 30 days is what the cycle would be with this program, and you can change your messaging every 30 days, or you can leave it the same. Maybe it is the same for 90 days, and there's no problem with that if it's all just a pushing for students. And then again, to your point, that's huge, those emails. And it really speaks for itself. It takes the guesswork about, is this working? You're like, here you go. Here are the 15 students.
It's the back matching.
Yeah, and you can track it back. You can track that journey straight back. Yeah, it's really impressive to follow.
Yeah, that's important. I mean, because if we take it to what our main job is, which is educating students, it's tracking the data. And so without that, you know, then we need to know if it's being impactful and if it's a good use of our dollars. And so I know it works, but I think it just makes the argument even stronger and easier. So
Absolutely.
Ms. Williams.
Thank you all for this presentation. I ditto not all the comments of Brother Wilson, but some of the comments are certainly around the idea that we need to use all of the mediums that we can to identify families. This may be a elementary question, but I'm just curious, the goal of this not this partnership in particular, but the media that we're talking about during this time. Are we looking to recruit students, or are we looking to use this platform or this opportunity to get students to re-enroll?
So this is more, we're going to talk about recruiting in a little bit, but this is more around communicating the message of Birmingham City Schools, whether that be trying to get teachers to come to Birmingham City Schools, that we got a message about, you know, Birmingham City Schools is your first choice in education. You know, this is more of our communication and messaging piece. We're going to talk a little bit about our student recruitment piece in just a second.
Okay. That's.
And if I could jump in before Ms. Cheryl got here and you was talking to Ms. Arlene, she's already started the campaign. We're already on air with the pre-K deal.
I've heard those
So
commercials.
We are, and I applaud you. I respect your opinion on that. But only reason I put this before you as an on-air is because we are number one, have been number one for 20 years in both of those formats. I'm in no way, I'm very pro-black. Let's get that clear, okay? Very pro-black. So I don't believe in taking any bread. I go to church with Courtney French, the owner of P94. Most of our talent that's been let go at our place resides at JLD and ATV. That's where we land. So I'm not the owner of the station. I can only do what I can do, but I'm going to do what I can do for our people.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Stewart.
Thank you all so much for your support.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. President, the next 4 items is tied to our new textbook adoption. This is the year for science adoption, and I'm going to ask that Dr. Norman come up. And Dr. Norman, do you have anybody with you? Or are you solo?
Yes, so we do have, well, yes and no. So we have some of our vendors, our publishers on Zoom. We have one that's here.
Turn your mic on.
And then,
Is your mic on?
Okay, I'm sorry about that. So yes and no, we have one of our vendors that is here with us. We had another one, but she had a 7:30 flight, and she had to drive back to Atlanta, so I didn't feel in good conscience wanting her on the road so late at night, and then we also have some vendors on Zoom. So, Vice President Collins, our board, and Dr. Sullivan, we have 4 agenda items for your consideration in this work session. The first one, where we talked about the textbook local adoptions, that we had a committee that you approved back in December, and our board member, Ms. Harville, was actually on that committee. We also had representation from our community, from each one of our schools, and we also had administrators for our grade bands. This is our timeline for our adoption schedules. This particular year, we're adopting science. Just so you'll know, the next year, as far as the state is concerned, we're doing social studies and art and digital literacy, and then our world languages. So this was our timeline that we had that I shared with you previously, and we have been able to stay on our timeline as far as our state is concerned also. So for each one of these agenda items, I'm going to go through them, but we also want to approve for each of these agenda items and the entire approved state textbook list and the supplemental material list. And the reason we want to do that, because we know in high school, a lot of times they will add different subject areas that they are not presently teaching at that moment, and they want to consider different subject areas. And if we do this, we don't have to keep coming back every single time. So the first one for your consideration is Savvis Learning Company. They were voted on for our K-8 curriculum. The funding source for this particular item is for our textbook allocation, Title II funds, and with general fund. In each one of these presentations, professional development is for a 6-year or 5-year, whichever the contract is, for each one of these items. And so for Savvis, for our K-8, we also looked at having the kits in 4th grade, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. We targeted 4th grade because that is a testing grade for science, and we want to make sure that they were prepared for that, and that's why we did not look at the other grades. I know you may have said, well, what happened to kindergarten through 3rd and 5th grade? We wanted to make sure that we're intentional in the funds that we were using, and we targeted 4th grade and also our middle school. A couple of years ago, we purchased STEMscope, and those schools still have those particular supplies, and so we didn't want to be redundant in our spending. It also came with, for our K-5, leveled libraries, and back to my sheets. Activity cards, our teacher editions. These are one-to-one books for our K-8 and reading classroom libraries. Of course, our teacher editions, and this is for a 6-year contract, and that is a normal state adoption is 6 years. The next one is McGraw-Hill for 9th through 12th grade. These are the particular items that were voted on for McGraw-Hill. We have our chemistry, earth and space science, physical science, human anatomy and physiology, biology, and also in the quote, it is professional development. These are classroom sets for our high school, but digital for each individual student. Our next one is Cengaged Learning, and that is environmental science, and it's also professional development. And for our last item, it is a supplemental item for science. It's gizmos, and the K2 component is called, I'm sorry, get back to my sheet. The K2 component is science for us, and these are labs that do 3D. If a student is absent, they can go back and look at these particular labs. For our high school, it has virtual labs also, so that way they can have some virtual hands-on learning. We also want to come back at a separate time to try to stock our labs in our high school so they can actually have some hands-on learning. But at this point, we decided we needed to make sure what we had in our high school so that we wouldn't be purchasing items that were not needed.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Norman.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask Dr. Stevens if she would come up, and I see Cassia K-12. This is a success story. You guys approved last year for Cassia K-12 to come in and do student recruitment, and we're back because they were so successful. They recruited so many students that it actually exceeded, reached our threshold, and so we're coming back. This is the, as you know, the first time in over 30 years that we saw this level of students coming back to Birmingham City Schools. So thank you for your work in helping being a part of that. So Dr. Stevens, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Board Vice President Collins, Superintendent Dr. Sullivan. Tonight, I'm presenting a request for approval to provide additional funds to the Cassia K-12 contract for the 25-26 school year. I have with me Mr. Adrian Bond, he's the president, and I have Ms. Rashay Holmes, she's the Director of Client Management. We are requesting that the board approve an increase in the Cassia K-12 contract not to exceed $120,000 for the 2025 through 2026 school year. This would extend our current two-year agreement, which was originally approved on February 13, 2024, with a cap of $180,000. Cassia exceeded, as Dr. Sullivan stated, our recruitment expectation. Essentially, we're asking for an additional $120,000 to recruit 150 K-12 students for the upcoming school year, 2025-2026. This recruitment initiative has had measurable impact and directly support our district's enrollment efforts. So they actually have two programs. And the first program is what they call recruitment program, recruitment campaign, and then they have a no-show campaign. For the recruitment campaign, we shared with them 3 years of student data, and this student data were students that left the district and they're eligible to re-enroll for the current school year. And also a part of this, we asked them, at the time we had opened up West Center Street, so we asked them to recruit pre-K students, or that may be in the area, or they were able to just recruit pre-K, so that was part of the agreement as well. For the recruitment program, from the list that we gave them, they brought back 89, and also some additional students that lived in the area, that was new to the district, but they brought 89 K-12 students and 23 pre-K students, and we paid them $75,800. Now, the second part of this is the no-show campaign. So the no-show campaign is that we provide them a list of students that have not shown up to school after the first 2 weeks. Now, we're going to recruit our own students as well. We're going to do call-ins, and we all saw that. I think we saw it in social media. Why Birmingham keep calling us? So we're recruiting ourselves. However, after the 2 weeks, if those students have not shown up, we gave Cassia a list of those students that had not shown up, and of that list, they recruited 130 back, and they were K-12 students. So actually, the return on investment for this was $1.6 million, and it was derived that for every K-12 students, we get $7,600, and they successfully recruited 219 K through 12 students. And although they did recruit the pre-K, we don't get funded for the pre-K students. So this return illustrates the impact of proactive, data-driven outreach strategies. So we targeted students, we shared our data with them, and they proactively went out and recruited those students for us. So for this year, we're asking for an additional $120,000 for the contract, and we've outlined how we're going to do this. So for April 2025, we're going to again share a list of 3 years worth of data of those students that have left our district that are eligible to still come back to the district. And at that point, they will do their recruitment campaign. They'll explain to you their strategies shortly. And when school starts, after the 2 weeks, we're going to share our no-show data with them as well and ask them to recruit from those. Now, we don't pay until those students are on our fall attendance. So those 219 students that we gathered fund for, they were on the fall attendance report, which used to be called the 40-day count, but now it's called the fall attendance collection. Now, I'm going to ask Adrian and Rashay to discuss Cassia K-12 real results and real return strategies.
Yes, I'm Adrian Bond, the president of CASA K-12, and what I want to make sure everyone understands is this work that we do across 26 states. We work with districts outside of E-Course, outside of Detroit by the name of E-Course, which has about 1,100, 1,200 students. We work with some as large as Miami-Dade, that's almost nearly 400,000. The one thing that is common that we're seeing across the board is today there is more competition for students than there's ever been in history. And it is more important for our traditional public schools to make sure that they're sharing their narrative on why they are the best educational option for most students. And when I say most students, that's because you don't get the opportunity. You have to educate everyone that comes to that door. And guess what? One thing that we have seen across the board is that BCS has a lot of programs, a lot of great things going on, and it's important that we get out there and share that narrative. So we run grassroots effort campaigns to go and educate families that aren't attending the district. So we're making phone calls, we're sending texts, we're knocking on doors, we have the ability to do digital ads. Any way that you've seen political campaigns run, we have the ability to do all of that. And so we engage with these families, and we call it the white glove service. We must engage with them and follow them from the time that we first communicate with them all the way through the time that you all receive funding for those kids. We did have some that drop off. You know, the competition is always trying to get these families to stay or come back or switch or whatever. So it's imperative to be able to continue that dialogue. So on here on the screen, you'll see several different strategies. At the end of a campaign, I think what is secondarily important is that you all understand the reasons why some of these families chose not to come back. We want to always get as many families as we can, but I think being able to find those reasons why they don't come back is just as important, and oftentimes you can find trends around that. So, Rashay, if you wanted to add anything else?
Yes. A part of these strategies that we employ, the most beneficial part of it is that it is very fluid. We are able to not only see what works, but we apply the research that we gather from the parents as to how they, felt about the enrollment process. What was the best part? What was the worst part? What works best for them as far as, gathering the feedback for the processes of the enrollment, as well as what they're excited about with the district. And so not only are we employing these strategies, but we're also gathering data, which Adrian spoke to, that will benefit the district, when we report back. And at the end of each campaign, we submit a wrap-up report, and that is a compilation of all of our efforts, but also parent feedback, positive, negative, and recommendations on how to move forward.
Are there any questions?
Mr. Billups?
Yes, my question is, regarding the data that you have collected, has that information already been shared with the district, at least in regards to the reasons why those individual families left, and also why those have come back?
Yes, they did share a report with us. They even had parent quotes in that report, and we can make that available.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
And not only that we use that to start modifying some of the things that were lifted up in that report.
Mr. Collins?
Thank you all. Excited about this. Got a couple of questions. The first one is, do we know what is there any particular area of town that we were most successful at recruiting and bringing students in?
So we know the students that they recruited, but I can tell you the areas that we asked them to target. So in that Oxmoor area, we asked them to target that area. Another area we asked them to target is that 280 area. Those are some of the areas that they did the grassroots on. And here's how we determined those areas. Okay. We determined those areas by looking at the geographic location, because we have a piece of software, I think it's by Frontline now, but it's what Dr. Sullivan used when he started zoning, when he zoned the school, but now it's been bought by Frontline. Yeah.
There's a process where you can look at any area and identify the number of students who are school-age students, and then they're color-coded by which school they attend. And so you can look at different areas in the community and see how many students live there versus how many students are in school. And so we start targeting those areas where we had a lot of students who were living, but they weren't attending Birmingham City Schools. Yeah.
Okay. So this is not, so I know we have an issue in our ninth grade cohorts that affect our graduation rates as far as our schools. Are we targeting any of those students to help? Because I know part of that graduation rate is finding those students and locating them that didn't show up. And we have a number of ninth graders that register for Birmingham City Schools but don't show up on the first day. Are they a part of that? Do they work to target them?
Remember, we try to get our own students back first.
Yeah.
And so it's after that 2 weeks that we give them whatever the list is of the students that didn't show up after that 2 weeks based on what students should be there. Now, the other one, the recruitment campaign where we recruited in the communities, that's where we use the software to understand that we have a huge percentage of kids, according to the census, that's there, but they are not enrolled in Birmingham City Schools.
So just to answer Mr. Collins' question, we actually have another group called Concentric, and there we gave them the list of the students who were in the cohort in the ninth grade, but we could not find them. And so Concentric has been working to find those students who, and I think that they're working with Dr. Lamar, so I think that they've made a huge dent in some of those students who we could not find. So this is a little bit different than the recruiting, as opposed to those students who left and are not, and some of those students are not in school at all. And so they kind of have ways to track those students down and hold, so that we can make sure that they're accounted for in our system.
So how long have we been working with them?
2 years, I believe.
Okay, and who has access to this group? Because this is the first I'm hearing about it. I mean, is it a counselor, principal have access to the group? I mean, how do this group, this organization get our?
So I don't know if you remember last year we brought before the board our chronic absenteeism numbers, and we had 2 schools that were just off the charts with chronic absenteeism. That was Woodlawn and Jackson-Olin. And so we recruited that group then to specifically work with Woodlawn and Jackson-Olin last year. And so they worked with Dr. Horn prior to him leaving, and now they're working with Dr. Lamar since he's come on board.
Yeah. And so the question that you're asking, they're actually compiling that data as we speak. So he and I have been emailing back and forth. So that's information I think we will have potentially at the next work session. So to that point.
This is really, and I hope the board is seeing the presentation prior with Summit Media. I know how some feel, as well as the presentation today here, as well as what we're doing with Concentric, is a layered approach to really address a very complicated problem around, one, advertising the schools, and then two, how do we address chronic absenteeism, and then three, how do we recruit students to the school? And so if we have a layered approach meeting each one of those needs, we've seen some positive growth. I mean, the fact that we had the largest enrollment increase in nearly 30 years is a testament to a lot of good work that's happening. And so, like Dr. Lamar said, we can bring the information from Cassia because they really focus on those schools that had the real hot spots, and that was at Jackson Olin and Woodlawn. And so we're expanding that a little bit because we're seeing the attendance numbers, the chronic absenteeism numbers are going down, but there are still some hot spots that we really need to address and bring those numbers down even further.
Mr. Sullivan?
Yeah, again, I'm excited for the partnership. I know we've been working with you all for, I guess, the last couple of years, and I must remind the board that I was the one that kind of brought y'all. I recommend it, and I see the return is actually there, so I'm excited about that. And I know you've, the focus is recruitment, but are there any other strategies that you all do to, I guess, maybe keep students in the system? So that they won't leave in the first place. Y'all, I know constant engagement is one of the things. Is there anything additional that you would like to share?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. Several districts around the country, they utilize our retention services, and that is a proactive engagement campaign that starts in January, February, that runs through about May, and that's where we contact all of those at-risk students that you see that you're losing out to competition. So we call them and we ask them to commit. All of those students that do not commit or say that, hey, I'm going somewhere else, that gives us the time to try to engage them. One, find out the reasons why they're unwilling to return or why they're undecided. And then let's try to work with the district to figure out ways to overcome their objections or their problems that they're having to want to go somewhere else. It's always a lot easier to keep the students while they're still in seats than it is for us to go back out and recruit them when they've left and gone somewhere else. So that is I tell people, we can recruit them in the front door, but we don't want to lose them out the back door as well. And so I think it's important oftentimes that some districts mirror that. I think you all may have some things that you all may be utilizing to work with retention, but that is extremely important, and that is something that a lot of our districts have been taking advantage of here recently.
Thank you.
Ms. Williams?
Just quickly, could you all, on the 219 of the number that you all shared, can you provide us before the board meeting in 2 weeks, the data on those particular numbers, like what grade level, if they're pre-K, if they're, what school and what grade level they are? Thank you.
Yes, we
And
can.
also if they're returning students or new students, just really a breakdown of the 219 that you're reporting on tonight. Thank you.
You just want to know the student name and, what grade they are
Oh, yeah,
at.
not the student's
not the
name,
name,
but
not
the
the name.
student,
Just
the school.
Okay, just the demographics.
Right, demographic. If it's pre-K, if they were never enrolled, newly enrolled, returned, or never and newly is the same thing, but newly enrolled or returned students, that would be helpful to my decision. Thank you.
Non-identifying information.
Mr. Wilson, then Mr. Collins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dr. Stevens, I'm curious of those numbers in the Oxmoor neighborhood. For the last 3 years, I've gotten several opinions from not only neighborhood officers, but residents in that community concerned with the babies after they leave elementary school. So those numbers, I'd like to know why those babies are not going. And if the reason they're not going to our middle school that's available to them, I'd like to know if there's a plan or a solution for it. And I know, that's directed at Dr. Sullivan, but I just wanted to ask that question.
Well, let's get the data first and make the decision based on the data.
Mr. Collins?
Do we go after those athletes that we losing to Clay, Pinson, and all that? Yeah. I mean, that was a serious question.
We don't know whether students are athletes, because that's not a indication that we give them. Remember now, we give them a list of previous students, and we don't know if they're athletes or not. So we're looking at all of our students.
I just want to say that give Mr. Sullivan his props. I do remember we heard them in several conferences, and he was adamant about bringing it back and persistent. And so I also just want to give a shout out, to Dr. Sullivan and then Dr. Lamar. People don't understand that how complex it is being a district leader, and it's more than just ABCs, and you're literally a CEO of an organization, and the talent pool. I'm always fielding questions, and it's amazing to me of people who make assumptions about the work that we do, Dr. Sullivan, that you do, and our executive, our cabinet, but they don't attend it. I don't see them in the meetings. I don't see them here listening, and so they make just crazy statements about the work that we do. But this is very comprehensive and complex, and so nothing happens by accident. Success doesn't happen by accident. Somebody's monitoring these things every day of the week, and so just for Dr. Lamar coming in and having to manage those relationships, Dr. Sullivan, to think years and years ahead. And so again, I just think it's very. I'm saying this. It does burn me up. Some of the board members know. It's very lazy takes by people who are supposed to be education experts who don't come here and see how comprehensive this is. And so again, I'm just excited about the work that we're doing. Thank you all so much for helping to recruit and helping us to retain our students, because we are giving them a pathway to success, and we get to see it all. We get to see we hear the stories of the students who are going across the country to Japan, who are going into college as a sophomore out of high school. Again, so it's not just we're recruiting you back to sit around, but we're recruiting you to a pathway to be successful and a productive citizen. So thank you all, and I just want to give an attaboy to the staff and everybody just doing some phenomenal, phenomenal work. And so thank you, Dr. Stevens, as well.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Dr. Stevens. And finally, we have Dr. Williams to come up. As you know, annually we provide our students, our elementary students, with books to take home for their take-home libraries, and this year's not any different. So Dr. Williams is going to share our contract to provide our elementary students with books to take home.
That is correct. Thank you, Dr. Sullivan. Our request tonight is that we purchase take-home reading materials for our students in grades K through 5 at a cost not to exceed $242,382. And these take-home books will be the same quality of books that we've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years, making sure that our students have books every summer when they go home. This is a 3-pack book. It will come in a book bag, so they will have book bags. I think our K2 students will have a tote, because the bags, cause the choking hazard or the string, so they're going to have a tote. And then our 3-5s will have the little book bag type bags, and then they'll have a letter signed by our superintendent to their parents expressing the need for reading in the home. So we're excited. Like Dr. Sullivan said, we've been doing this for 4 years. We want to keep that blueprint. We did a lot to get our reading up to par, and we don't want to decrease the level of reading that we've provided to our students.
All right,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Williams, thank you. Thank
Dr.
you.
Williams.
What did I do?
Thank you, Dr. Sullivan. Colleagues, would you all like to make announcements now? If you have any announcements, we're going to do our special call. Okay. So we have an upcoming board meeting, and I'll go ahead and announce these dates, and then we'll go into our special call meeting. Our next board meeting will be on Tuesday, April the 8th, and our next work session will be on Tuesday, April the 22nd. This work session is now adjourned. All right, we will now begin our special call board meeting for March 25th, 2025. We will now have the invocation. Since I didn't ask any board members want to volunteer to do the invocation? Oh, Mr. Wilson, all right, Deacon, go ahead, Mr. Wilson. And then followed by that, if you'll mind standing for the pledge.
Heavenly Father, we come here grateful and thankful. Lord, thank you for our many blessings. We ask that you continue to bless us in Jesus' name, amen.
To the flag of the United States of America. All right, colleagues, this meeting is now called to order. We've already read our mission statement. Does everyone have their agendas for the special call board meeting? We will now have the adoption. We now have the adoption of the agenda. It is recommended that the agenda of the March 25th special call board meeting be adopted as outlined. Dr. Sullivan, are there any additions or deletions?
Mr. President, none at this time.
Thank you, Dr. Sullivan. May I have someone to move and second?
So move.
Second.
The record show that it was moved by Board Member Wilson and second by Board Member Billups. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, the agenda has been adopted. All right, colleagues, let me pull up my agenda here. I'm moving a little slow here. Yeah, no, I'm just not, I'm just pulling up my, my agenda real quickly here. All right, colleagues. Yeah, I'm on the computer. Colleagues, we have the recommendation at this time. What, Dr. Sullivan, would you? I'll let you read it.
Mr. President, the recommendation is to approve the approval is granted to enter into a partnership with Stanford University in the amount of $95,000 for advanced degree in educational leadership programs for certificated employees.
Board item.
Second.
Quick question, quick point of discussion before you call for the vote. Just for
Yes.
clarity, this is gonna be on the certificate program and the masters, but not the EDS
The
program?
master's program, that's correct. Is that right, Dr. Hines?
And then the EDS program would be forthcoming, correct? All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposition? The item has now passed.
Mr. President, the next recommendation, it is recommended that the board uphold the decision of the superintendent in the grievance dated May 23rd, 2024, based on the written submission.
So move.
Has someone a second?
Second.
Let the record show that it was moved by Board Member Wilson and second by Board Member Collins. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Any abstention? All right.
Mr. President, we have employee grievance number 2. The recommendation is that it is recommended that the board uphold the decision of the superintendent in the grievance dated May 23rd, 2024, based on the written submission.
Move the item.
Has someone a second?
Just a second, grievance number 2.
All right, I need someone to second.
Second, and also a comment before you call for the vote.
Mrs. Harville?
And just if, Attorney Parchman, per our discussion, if, as things continue to move forward and improvements are made, if you could just update us on plans that are taken, actions that are taken.
Yes, ma'am. I think Ms. Bowen requested that as well, and maybe some other board members.
Thank you.
Colleagues, are there any more comments? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Any abstention? All right, Dr. Sullivan?
Mr. President, this is the personnel item, so that the personnel actions be approved.
Yes, sir, Dr. Sullivan. All right, colleagues. I apologize, you all. It is recommended that the personnel actions be approved as submitted. Colleagues, before we move forward, are there any items that need to be pulled from consideration?
Yeah, I have one.
Mr. Sullivan?
Yeah, page 15, Charlie.
Give a name, give a number.
No, C for Charlie. Yeah, I'm sorry.
He's doing his,
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. So C, 82296.
Hold on a second. C82296. What was that page again?
Page 15.
All right. Colleagues, are there any other items that need to be pulled from consideration?
Mr. President, I don't think it's a pull, it's just, I think we're missing a note on page 17, item S 82311. Page 17, item S 82311. Now, if we could just find out, if we could just find out what that remark is before we approve.
Mr. Leonard or Ms. Brown?
Okay. So for time, should we just pull it and then we can just bring it back? Or do we want to
Well,
wait?
because of the nature of what we're voting on, I think we could find that information.
Well, I didn't mean pull it as
yeah.
in not vote on it tonight. I just meant for giving them time
Oh,
to find it, and then
yes,
we can
yes.
just.
Are you able to find
We
that
can approve and then bring
now?
it back.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean, just giving them some more time. So, Mr. President, could we just pull this item just for the sake of time? And give them time, or do we just want to delay the vote?
Let's,
Since
Attorney
you're giving them time, can I comment on a couple of them on here that I would love to pull, but I'm not gonna pull?
Attorney Parchman, did you have anything
Well, no, I was gonna say you could just pull that item and vote on it separately.
Right.
at the end?
Williams was correct.
Okay.
And the other item that has been pulled. as
Okay.
well.
All right. Okay, we can do that. Hold on one second, you all. Mr. Wilson, I think we probably don't need to just comment on them tonight. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you.
I apologize on timing too. I saw this and I meant to just ask before we met. I apologize.
That's all right. Mr. Billups? Okay, Miss Collins, Miss Collins, Miss Williams, could you give me your number again?
Sure, it's page 17, item S 82311.
Page 17, item S 82311.
Yes, Mr.
Okay.
President.
All right. Mr. Collins?
Page 15, item C82296.
Yeah, he's already, Mr. Sutherland pulled that one.
I hear you. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Mr. Sutherland pulled that one. That's all right. Colleagues, are there? Are there any other items? It is late. I've had a bad allergy day today, you all. Are there any other items, colleagues, that need to be pulled at this time? All right. All right, colleagues. It is a recommendation that the personnel actions be approved, minus item C 82296 on page 15, minus item S 82311 on page 17. May I have a motion and a second for the the remaining personnel actions?
Move the item.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? You have the question? Okay, I'm sorry. For the rest of the items, or on the ones that are pulled?
Oh, you just go to the other items, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're fine, I'm sorry.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Any abstention? Okay. So at this time, we will now address Mr. Sullivan's item, which was item C82296 on page 15. May I have someone to move and second the item?
Move the mentioned item.
Second.
Let the record show is moved by Board Member Harville and second by Board Member Billups. Mr. Sullivan?
No really discussion, just wanted to vote separately.
Separate?
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Billups, did you have a comment on this one?
No.
On the next one? Okay. All right. Mr. Collins, that's right. Go ahead. Just a roll call vote. Okay? All right, colleagues, if there's no further comments at this time, we will do a roll call vote for item C82296, page 15. We will begin with Ms. Williams.
Yes.
Ms. Bourne?
Yes.
Yes.
Abstain.
Yes.
Abstain.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
All right. Let the record show that item C82296 on page 15 has passed. We had one absent, 2 abstentions, and 6 affirmative votes. All right. We will now, have we had time to get the information? Yes. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second. Come on, you can come on up. You can come on up. We will now entertain item S82311 on page 17. May I have someone to move and second the item?
I move.
Second.
The record show is moved by Board Member Billups and second by Board Member Bowen. Ms. Bowen? Who pulled this one?
So I guess my question, will this affect this person's FMLA?
No, it will not.
Okay, that's
It will not.
my concern. Okay.
So we're going to pull the item until next time and make the correction and provide it on the upcoming agenda.
All right, Mr. President, I'll pull the item for consideration.
Okay.
They're trying to.
Okay, so we're going to, we're going to pull that item. Dr. Sullivan's pulling that item, and we will address it at a later time. Next board meeting? Okay. All right. We've already mentioned our upcoming meetings. This meeting is now adjourned. You got an announcement?
A couple of things. One, our early college program, we're still, Adrian, is it right, accepting applications. If there's someone out there who has a student who thinks that early college will be a benefit for them, please apply for our early college program at Woodlawn or our early college program at Winona High School. This is a wonderful opportunity for students to get ahead as they prepare for their work career. And then secondly, Devin, do you have that pulled up? So go back, Devin, go back to the actual, the beginning of the web page. Go back. Go back to the so in the, yes. So annually, the nation releases its national scorecard for educational progress, and they have been providing this post-pandemic. And the one for this year, February 2025, was just released. And Devin, if you can go down, just scroll down the page. They highlighted success stories from different school districts. And if you see, stop right there, Devin. It says at the top, I can't read that because it's too blurry. But basically, they highlight several school districts that have shown success, and they looked at over 100 school districts in states across the nation. And these are the school districts that they highlight for showing success. So slide down, Devin. And you'll see right down there in the bottom of the quarter, Birmingham City Schools. So we're really proud of the work that our team has done around improving academic outcomes. We are being recognized nationally among over 100 school districts across the nation, and Birmingham is just one of the handful, I think it's 12 school districts up there, that they're highlighting as a success story. So thank you to the team who make this happen. All of the work that the board has approved, you're seeing the fruits of that labor, and it is being recognized not just here in the state, but it's being recognized nationally. So thank you. Yes, Mr. Lee can drop it in the link for the update this week.
See, Doc, you was holding that one back, weren't you, Doc?
Yeah. It was just released in February, and so we're really proud of being recognized for the work that we're doing in Birmingham City Schools.
You know, for my card players, he was holding that big joker, waiting for all the other cards to play. He pulled that one out. No, that's, again, I just reiterate, I know I frustrate some people, but I really don't care. I don't. I promise you I don't. I mean, because again, people don't just give you those accolades. Like, that's earned. And I've been living in this city for 40 years. And so again, for Birmingham City Schools to be awarded and to be applauded for these types of improvements, again, it just shouldn't go without being noticed. And it should be noticed on a greater scale, not only in our city, but in our state. And it's quite unfortunate that you get more accolades around the country than you do in your own local area. But not to quote the Bible, but the Bible does tell you that your prophet doesn't get their honor in their own home, and that's just the reality of it. And so I will say that till I'm blue in the face, and I hope we're extremely proud of the work that we're doing. I hope you all are. And so again, just thank you all for your continued commitment to excellence. And so, colleagues, if there's no other announcements.
I don't think
Ms.
anyone
Williams.
said thank you to the partner for the books they left for us here on the dais. I didn't know where it came from until I read quickly, and saw that it was from that body. Thank you, they left, but thank you.
Casey, okay, all right. This meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you.